The Miami Hurricanes are back on the national stage in the college football playoff. Awarded the 10th seed today, which landed them a date with Texas A&M on December 20th to play for the right to go play Ohio State at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. And the Canes fans are rejoicing all across America.
Jordan.
My name's Brian.
And as I'm sure you guys see, the University of Miami just made the playoffs because we beat the crap out of Notre Dame and we kicked them out. So now, in celebration, we are getting ready to jump in this pool. But not just jump in this pool. As you can see, it is 34 degrees and feels like 23. But the air quality says it's good. So everything is fine there. So we're going to jump in this pool, and then we're going to do 6 push-ups for the 6th national championship that we're about to win. Let's go. Let's go! Oh no! Oh man!
Well, it's been a long time, Canes fans, and going into this weekend, a lot had to go right for the Miami Hurricanes to make the college football playoffs, and somehow it all worked out. And it's about time, isn't it? Miami needed BYU to lose. They fell to Texas Tech 34-7. Alabama lost in a blowout to Georgia 28-7. As it turned out, that didn't even matter because the College Football Playoff Committee used it as an excuse to get rid of Notre Dame, which makes me happier than a pig in slop because I think anything that makes Notre Dame get burned by not being part of a conference is a positive for college football. And the Irish were so rattled by this turn of events that they made an announcement that they will not be accepting a bowl bid this year. That means they're a little sore up there in South Bend, and that's a beautiful thing. So the events of the weekend allowed the Hurricanes to move from number 12 to number 10 and nab the last at-large playoff spot and the right to go to Texas A&M, a place where winning will not be easy. It's one of the toughest venues in college football, but they get a noon game on December the 20th, and that's yet the latest break to swing Miami's way. It'll be a hot Miami team that travels to Texas at the end of next week. The Canes have won their last 4 games by a combined total of 151-41. Carson Beck's been playing great. You know all about the emergence of Malachi Toney as one of the elite skill players in the country. Running back Gerard Pringle bringing another piece of another element to the Canes offense. But you want to hear something crazy? The more that I look at this game, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong at this point, but I wonder whether Miami's ticket to victory isn't going to be more along the lines of the way they played and beat Notre Dame at the beginning of the season. I got to believe Texas A&M is going to be ready for the trick plays. They're going to be ready for all the different things that Malachi Toney has been doing. And I think Miami is going to have to physically be able to take over this football game to emerge from College Station with a victory. But we'll obviously be studying that a lot over the next week and a half or so. But that's just an initial thought I had in looking at this test on the road at a really tough place to play and a tough place to beat a quality football team. Should be a great game, a great moment for the Hurricanes. I hope a lot of people are going to be making the trip. And we'll be talking about all of that and more tonight on CaneSport Live. And hello again, everybody. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com. We welcome you to this special Sunday night edition of CaneSport Live. We're calling it the College Football Playoff Edition. What a beautiful ring that has. And as usual, it's your show. It's going to be driven by your participation. Many of our guests tonight have pre-registered with us through the year, as you know. We'll be bringing them on the show. If you're not pre-registered with us and you would like to join us tonight, you see the streamer at the bottom of the screen. You send us an email, CaneSport@yahoo.com, and we will shoot you the link to the studio and give you an opportunity to be on tonight's show. As always, our managing editor at CaneSport, Matt Shodell, is going to be joining me here in the first hour of the show, and then we'll be joined by the voice of the fan, Bruce Warner, after that. So let's get things started by a guy that I have not seen this euphoric in like the 50 years or whatever it's been that I've known him. That's Matt Shodell. Matt, welcome back.
It's all happening. It's all happening. I honestly, I feel like, you know how you wake up sometimes in the middle of the night and you think you're still asleep? I'm convinced that I'm not awake, and I'm going to wake up in 10 minutes, and it's going to be like the CFP rankings haven't come out yet, and it's like just it still hasn't quite hit me. It's a strange. Oh, wait a minute! This just came across my feed. Notre Dame has canceled all games for next season. Huh. Wow, that's weird. Yeah, this is, and by the way, I'm convinced. I'm utterly convinced, because let's face it, the CFP can't say the truth. Okay, the truth is they were going to leave out Miami. I'm convinced of this. This is maybe not true. I think that if Virginia won last night, and Gary said this and I didn't believe him, but now I think it's true, because nothing else makes any sense. I think they really felt they had to have an ACC team in, and they were going to leave Miami out. I honestly believe that until Duke won in overtime, because the whole thing's bizarre. To have Miami behind Notre Dame the whole time and off by one team, and they didn't flip them then, and they kept Alabama. They moved Alabama up last week, not to help Miami, but to hurt Miami, right? So that Alabama could slide back if they have to, but not too far. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, wait a minute, there's no ACC team, and I'm sure, there's some sort of backdoor dealing. Like, the ACC is not powerless. I hate the ACC, but they're not powerless. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, they're just a bunch of schmucks. I mean, they will pull all the strings they can. To not have a team in for the ACC is a disaster for the ACC conference money, for the team's money, just for the teams being unhappy in general, for the perception of them being worse than two group of five conferences. Like, there was no way they would have let it. Like, there's no way they would have let it happen. It just seemed so far-fetched. And yes, Yarechuk was asked point blank, did you let Miami in because there was no ACC team? And he said, no. But what's he going to say? Yeah, we put Notre Dame out because we had to have an ACC team. He didn't have a choice. But to say it, I think it's true. I think they were trying to screw Miami and Virginia. I think we should all thank Virginia, because otherwise, this is also a truth. Otherwise, the other flip side, if this is not true, if that conspiracy theory, which is the truth, so it's not a conspiracy theory, but if that conspiracy theory is not true, the alternative is Notre Dame was never in, right? They could have told Notre Dame last week, you're already out of the playoffs, Notre Dame, even though Notre Dame was ranked in the playoffs, because whether Alabama won or lost, Notre Dame was out, right? Because Alabama is either staying where they were with a win or staying where they were with a loss, and BYU is going to be out with a loss, and now it's Miami and Notre Dame next to each other. And if BYU had won or lost, if BYU had won, they were going to move up, and if they had lost, they were going to move down. So either way, it's going to be Miami and Notre Dame next to each other, and Miami's going to pass Notre Dame. So they should have just said last week, Notre Dame's out. Because there was if what they said today is true, and they didn't just let Miami in because they needed an ACC team, then Notre Dame was out last week before these conference games, and they just didn't want to tell anybody that for some reason. It's bizarre.
There's some truth to that. I mean, they were sequentially.
It's a bunch of moron wackos. I don't care Miami's in. They need to be disbanded. They should all be fired. I hate the system. I want to go to an AI-based system using Matt Shodell's brain cells.
There could be some truth to that. I mean, they were sequentially straightening it out over several weeks, but it was weird, no argument, when Alabama jumped last week after a pretty mediocre game against Auburn. And that was the first hint that we saw that Alabama was making it no matter what happened in the game against Georgia, which, we don't need to debate on this show whether Notre Dame was wronged in that situation. I mean, Alabama does have 3 losses now. They are bound and determined. If you think about all the money that's tied into conference championship games, I think they're bound and determined not to lose those, because where's that money going to get made up from? And so they were protecting the conference championship game without question. All that said, Alabama made the SEC title game in a tiebreaker with several other teams. So this wasn't like it was like a clear-cut situation, number one.
No conference champion's ever been blown out and not moved down. I mean, that's insane.
They were bound. They had made the decision last week that Alabama was going to get in no matter what.
Correct.
You're absolutely right. There's no question.
Yeah,
but
they won't tell you that. They won't tell you. This is the problem with this committee. They're not. They have press conferences. They answer questions and they lie. They don't tell the truth. If they were transparent, I got no problem with it. Tell us last week Notre Dame's out. They're ranked in the playoffs, but they're going to be out because we're keeping Alabama in, and we like Miami over Notre Dame in a tiebreaker. Like, don't pretend that this is all just magical fluff out in the air. Like, we were so upset for 3 weeks as Miami fans, right? It was like a nightmare. Why are you making us live through a nightmare? It's like this. I don't know if you read about this. This LSU freshman Abigail Lutz. You know, she goes to the LSU football game. She's very excited. She wears her mini skirt. She happens to lift her top. What's wrong with that? We all have boobs. Gary's probably got bigger boobs than she does, and so she gets arrested. Right? That's not right. That's not right. That's just as wrong as what the CFP did to us, because the CFP honestly put us all through torture. They put us through torture for 3 weeks. Now Notre Dame's in torture for an entire offseason, all because they weren't transparent. They just won't tell you any information. They wouldn't tell a Texas reporter last week, yeah, Texas is going to be out. They're like, we don't know. We got to see what happens next week. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Don't even have press conferences if you're going to talk about nonsense. It's like Mario Cristobal only talking about cafecitos during press conferences and not answering any questions. Like, what would the point of that be? I mean, I like cafecitos, but we're talking to you to get information, not what you just drank 14 gallons of the day before, you know?
Well, just as they were bound and determined not to harm the conference championship game existence, I think they became equally determined not to ignore a head-to-head game, which they shouldn't have. Right. What happened today is exactly what
the problem is the transparency, Gary. Like you said it. I'll give credit to you.
You know why though, Matt?
You said
I'll
it.
tell you why.
You said they're going to flip them. I remember last year you were wrong. You're 1-1. I'm 1-1, right? But by the way, who's the guy that predicted 10-2 in the playoffs and then like an idiot backed off of it, right? I should have stuck with my 10-2 in the playoffs, just like I said before the season. Actually, 2 years ago,
trying to predict what games they would lose.
2 years ago, I said 10-2 in the playoffs this year, and then you know they go 4-0. I'm like, okay, 11-1. Like, I never should change my predictions ever again. I'm like, you know, whatever.
You tried to predict what games they would lose. Big mistake. But
God forbid, that's called transparency. You know,
what happened today is exactly what should have happened. I think the problem that they created for themselves was when they put Notre Dame at 8 and Miami at 18 in the first poll that came out. Totally absurd that there was that much separation between the two teams when they both had the exact same record. They should have been within a couple spots of each other. Whatever the numbers are, didn't matter. And that's where they backed themselves into a corner and had to move Miami up sequentially week after week after week as the Hurricanes were playing well down the stretch. But it's what should have happened in the first place. And I'm glad that at the end of the day, they did the right thing. And we're sitting here getting ready to go play in College Station on the 20th without any drama, without any nonsense, without any debate. It was clear cut. The Canes are in. Now it's up to the Canes to take care of business and do their job. That's going to be easier said than done. Texas A&M is a very good team. But
by the way, their only quality win, the Texas A&M's only quality win is against Notre Dame by 1 point. So I'm not going to say like, oh, they're amazing. Correct. They played a very easy schedule. They're the Virginia of the SEC.
In the SEC.
They played nobody. They played nobody.
Yeah. Yes, but that doesn't mean that you should just be writing in a victory here. Miami's going to have to go on the road in one of the toughest stadiums in the country. And everybody make sure that you go with a date or a significant other to the game, those of you that are going to make the trip, because everybody kisses the person next to them at various points in the game. And like, I wouldn't get stuck kissing Matt Shodell.
I'm not sitting next to Ferman. Hell no.
So, make sure that you line up your tickets appropriately for this game. They got that some goofy traditions over there. They also have, this is kind of cool. If you're there the night before the game, you should go to their yell practice. It's kind of like a cool event just to see, it's not that you're a Texas A&M fan, but it's one of the traditions of college football. They have yell practice the night before the game. So
there's going to be a brawl. What's the main street? I just go to the main street and wait for Miami to brawl with Texas A&M. Isn't that what happens every big game for Miami? It's been 20 years. We got to have a brawl.
But anybody can make the trip. It's a great venue. I've been there on a few occasions, and you'll have a great time. And hopefully the Canes will play well. And we'll be living happily ever after here in Miami. But at least the opportunity is there. All right, let's go out to some of our guys. Let me start. Sebastian's got a new sign. So let's go to a little wide angle here. 4 years in the college football playoff.
That's Mario Cristobal. That means Mario Cristobal took the program 4 years in the CFP. I think Matt said that. That's what Matt said.
I did.
What's number two?
Right this year, kinda. He got a little aggressive in his prognostications, but
he said 10-2. He said Matt said 10-2.
Yes, 10-2 in the playoffs. I said 10-2 in the playoffs.
He said 10-2. The only thing Matt was wrong with was he didn't listen to me when I was worried about Louisville.
Yeah.
Remember, I was really worried about Louisville.
You did say Louisville. You didn't say SMU. You said Florida and Louisville, not SMU.
He said Florida, but no. But later in the game when I told him I was worried about Louisville, he said, "Don't worry, nothing to worry, nothing to see here."
I changed my mind later on. My problem was I second guessed myself because I get inside my own head,
Look at number three.
Alabama should have been out. I think you would find a pretty intense debate on that around the country. Certainly in the South End.
I think Alabama deserved it over Notre Dame personally.
Okay, so here's what I would say. There's no penalty for Alabama for losing against a 5-7 Florida State team that's home for Christmas. There's no penalty for them.
There was not. No,
that's all I'm saying. Notre Dame loses to Miami, and they loses to Texas A&M by 1 point. But everyone wants to protect Alabama because they played in the SEC championship game, which they don't want to lose. Because in all rationale, I really believe you could have put Notre Dame in and Miami in and just would have been done. And Alabama fans would have been unhappy. They would have hated that they played in the SEC championship game, but there's no penalty for losing to Florida State the week 1 of the season. The only reason why we're in the college football playoffs is because we beat Notre Dame week 1. But there's no penalty.
Before we go to the rest of your list, though, let me stop you for a minute because this is what they did after they lost that game. They beat Georgia at Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They blew out Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
They beat Missouri at Missouri.
Yeah.
They blew out Tennessee.
Yeah.
They beat South Carolina. They beat LSU. Then they lost a close game to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And then beat Auburn. But you have you have 2 or 3 real high quality wins in there, and Notre Dame didn't have really any, quite honestly. I mean, the best team they beat all year was USC. So that's why they made the decision they made.
I understand, Gary, but all I'm saying is there's 12 spots. The SEC got 5. So, I'm just saying, how much? I mean, shoot, you could have almost put 6 teams in there, and that's half the college football playoffs. And I'm just saying, as great as we always think Alabama is, they should have paid a price for getting schwacked in the SEC championship game, for barely beating an Auburn team, and for losing by 14 points the first game of the season to Florida State. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
can I tell you my perspective?
Yeah, Sebastian, and they could have lowered them earlier in the equation out of the top 12, and then they would have accomplished that. The problem with dropping them after the game yesterday would have been it's sending a message that you're paying a price for being in the conference championship game, and they definitely did not want to do that for obvious reasons, because then nobody would want to play in conference championship games. Congrats to Manny Diaz. I agree. He deserves the congrats.
I mean, congrats. I mean, he was an underdog. I mean, they were getting criticized for being in ACC championship games. He's an underdog, and for a coach that looked to rebound and to get his coaching career back on track, I mean, he went up to Penn State, did a great job being the defensive coordinator, and then was able to. I mean, if you're Duke, this was a successful season for you. I mean, the fact that you can hang a trophy in your athletics department saying that you won the ACC, I just thinks that makes Duke someone to record with. Matt, you was going to say something in regards to
I was going to say, to me, I sort of personally, I have a one-off for every team in the country. Like, if you lose to a bad team, I don't think that this qualifies you, but you have to beat multiple good teams to offset it. And Alabama did that. Alabama did that. They had 3 quality wins, including at Georgia, So, like, that's why I think they deserved it over Notre Dame. Like, personally, I think teams, who was it? Was it Texas? There was one team that played just Texas. You play all these really good teams. You schedule really good out-of-conference teams. I guess you shouldn't do that anymore, right?
They paid the price. They lost it, but they lose by a touchdown to Ohio State.
Right. If you schedule Ohio State,
let me put a time out here for you, both you guys. But if Miami didn't have that victory over Notre Dame, Miami doesn't make the college football playoff. You have to have quality victories.
I agree.
You can't have quality victories if you're afraid to play people.
That's true, but not true, because as long as Miami didn't have these horrible game plans against SMU or Louisville and finished 11-1. They could have beat Bethune-Cookman twice and not Notre Dame and been in the playoffs, right? So it's a yes and a no. If you lose 2 games, then you need to, like I said, if you lose a bad game, you got to have something to offset it, probably 2 good wins. If you only lose 1 game, I mean, look at James Madison. They lost a game. They haven't beat anybody, even Power 4 all year. Like, how many Power 4 wins they have? 1?
But you're also forgetting what college football is. College football is entertainment. Okay. And we got entertained that night on August the 31st when Notre Dame came to Hard Rock Stadium and played the Canes. Okay.
Right.
And it's an entertainment product too. It's not just about
the system needs to factor in. Right. The system needs to factor in when you have a good schedule, period. If you lose 3 games, you play the toughest schedule in the country, you should be in the playoffs over a 2-win team that plays nobody.
Well, Alabama got in for that reason. That's why Alabama got in.
You disagree with me, Gary. You said any team that has 3 losses shouldn't be ahead of a 2-loss Miami.
I did not think that Alabama should have been in ahead of Miami. No,
right, but I'm saying
that's my point. The point I'm trying to make is, I think Alabama should have been home and Notre Dame should have been. I think the discussion should have really been Notre Dame and Alabama and not Miami. Right. I really think they should have came down to those 2. And let them fight it out, and Miami should have not been in the equation. So that goes to my second to last bullet, where it says the CFP needs to be tweaked because look,
don't consider Notre Dame until they go into a conference. How about that?
Yeah, and that's the last thing. And my last point is this: when I walk away from this season, I have to really ask myself, did I really get all the things that I wanted to see out the season? Did I want to see us competitive? Did I want to see us show up in big games? Did I want to see Mario Cristobal improve? Did I want to see the defense be a defense that could be there? Did I want it to make it to the CFP? And all those questions were answered. I don't know if you remember my sheet last week in regards to all the things that I checked off, and I said if we win and we just beat Pittsburgh, I thought we had a shout to be in. We have a great opportunity in front of us. We're going on the road. We're playing against Texas A&M. We're not favored. We have the whole nation saying that we should be there, we shouldn't be there, and all kind of crazy stuff or whatever. Mario Cristobal had to really sell his vision to people like Reuben Bain and Francis Meyer-Goa when we were nowhere near getting the type of 5 stars that we were getting. And, he kept talking about validation, and so forth. And, I just got to give him his kudos. Just like I'm giving Matt his kudos. Matt said we're going to be tuned into, we need to be in the playoff or the season is a bust. We're going to line up. we're gonna make that trip out to College Field and Texas A&M team, and I think we're gonna take a team that I'm just not intimidated by any team in the college football playoffs that we just can't line up against.
You want to
Whether
hear something? You want to hear something funny?
yeah,
So after Miami lost 2 out of 3 games, Gary calls me up and he says, "Hey, write a column on how we need to start playing the younger players, prepare for next year. Season's basically going to be over, right? Because the team looked that bad. The team looked that bad. Like they're going to lose another game, right? So it's an amazing testament to the staff because Gary's called me pretty much every year for the last 20 years with the same story, right? Miami loses 2 out of 3. Hey, get the story ready. And you just wait for the next loss, and then bam, here's the story, right? You have it ready. But this year they never lost again. Like this is finally that turning point. Finally, we're at a stage, and again, Mario Cristobal did it, and you could see it coming. I said when he was hired, the Mario Cristobal secret, and it's not the money or the transfer portal. His secret to his success, and there's no blueprint. You know, he says there's a blueprint, whatever. What he doesn't even recognize is his own ability to sort of have this connection with people, with players, with families. They implicitly trust him. Coaches are used car salesmen. You know, Gary and I would always joke about Manny Diaz. Like he's a used car salesman. Like you can tell a used car salesman right when you walk in the door.
Trying to beg his way into the playoff. Jesus.
You could tell right when you walk in the door with some of these people. A lot of these people, right? The way they talk to you, their intonation, the words they use. When Mario Cristobal says, you know, he keeps it real and transparent, those are just sound bites. But it's also true. A lot of these people, I'll tell you up front, they'll tell you this. It's not true. You know, you're going to start, you're going to be great. They're lying. You know, Mario Cristobal doesn't use words like that. He doesn't tell a player, you come here, you're going to be a star from day one. No, you got to work for it. You know, we're the hardest working team in college football. You're going to be yelled at. You're going to be driven. We're not here to have fun. We're here to make you a professional football player and a professional person. How you do anything is how you do everything, the whole mantra, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's not for everybody. Some people actually rebel against it. They hate it, and they're the cancers that they have to get rid of. And there's some of them every year, right? But that's just the way it is. But this is how Mario Cristobal is building this team. That's why I say I think it's only going to get better and better because he's stacking these recruiting classes using that. The transfer portal is not good for Mario Cristobal.
Yeah.
Because he can't build that relationship with parents and with players over years and years unless he already recruited them in high school.
It's speed dating.
It's a month. You know him for a month or 2 weeks. You look at their film. You've seen them on tape. You played against them. Hey, you want to come here? Here's a load of cash. Come on over. It's not that real built-in psyche. I'll do anything for you. I'll do anything for your program. You know, you're like a father figure type thing. But he's getting that. He's getting that. Next year, it's going to be more recruits, less transfers that are starting. This year was half transfers. Yeah. As long as you get the right transfers at quarterback and a couple other spots, this program's freaking rolling. This is not a one-year one-off like Virginia Tech, where every 4 years you're great. This is an every-year thing at Miami. That's why I'm excited. I don't expect Miami to win a national title this year. I said that at the beginning of the year. I said 10-2 playoffs. I said next year we'll be competing for the national title. And it's because of what I just said. He's building this thing from the ground up through recruiting and development, not through the portal. The portal's to try and fix all the problems. And when you take in 11 transfers and he hit on them this year, which is great, which is why we're where we're at. But that's not sustainable. What's sustainable is what he's doing at the core of the program that people are just starting to see with the Malachi Tonys and the Gerard Pringles and even the Ruben Baines, right, who came up as freshmen. Like all these young guys, O.J. Frederick, you go down the list. These are stars. Francis Mauanoa. I mean, you go down the list. Like these, there's going to be 20 of those guys. That's how you build national championship teams that'll beat Ohio State's and Georgia's, which are the next two teams we have to play after we kick Texas A&M's butt.
Yeah,
without forgetting about the portal.
Hey, Gary, I want to allow you one opportunity to make a comment. I got one final point because there's a lot of people that's going to be on the show. I just want to make sure I don't over talk you or anything. Well, I'll make my last point with this. Hopefully I didn't forget it. If you guys go back a couple of weeks, I was really frustrated with the SMU game. And you can go back and you can rewatch the tape. And I told them, and I made these comments. I said that loss was the best thing that ever happened to us. And it really seemed we was at a point where our season was going to crumble because I said it was going to have to force us to do something that we were unwilling to do. we were going to have to play like Gerard Pringle. We had to stop that, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. We was going to have to get creative. We was going to have to get out of our own way. And I said that was the best thing that ever happened to us because it forced us to change. And when I saw that change, I was really encouraged because I felt like I think every now and then a coaching staff has to kind of go through that. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but several years ago, I remember Alabama got blown out by Ohio State, and they had this. That's when they had Ezekiel Elliott and the spread, and they had to change their whole entire defense from the players they recruit and the schemes that they ran. And that's what I was really encouraged about Miami. Going forward, I hope we're able to retain a lot of the talent that we have. I'm encouraged by the recruiting class that we kind of brought in. I hope we're able to keep our coaching staff together for another year because I think that's crucial in trying to continue to build a program and the depth and the momentum. But I'm excited about us going to the playoffs, whereas last year I'd have been happy to get in, but I don't know if I would have been excited about us being there
You
because
would have been.
It
I
would've
mean,
been-
I would have been happy to see what Cam Ward can kind of do,
you
but
would have
I'd
had
be
a
cringing.
sign saying, "I'm so excited."
Yeah,
That's what
but
your
I
sign
but
would
I,
have
but
said.
I would have been cringing every time we kind of got on defense because I knew we didn't have the teams on the back end. What I'm really looking for is how we prepare, how we handle being on the big stage. What is it like for us to travel? What is it like for us to like our practices? Because we're in a whole. It's not a bowl game. We're in a whole different or a whole different arena being at this level of college football, and we haven't been here in a long time. And so, I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna give them a pass or a one off, but we got to kind of master that. And I'm happy to have a coach who's kind of played on the big stage and have kind of won championships to kind of help them navigate. And this is when I really believe senior leadership from like Carson Beck and CJ Daniels is going to be kind of key because you know you can't hang out late at night. You can't get caught up in all the distractions and all that other stuff if you want to go far. But long story short, there's a lot of other people needs to get on the show. I want to let them in there, but I have to say, Gary, I got to give it to you guys for all the hard work that you guys do. But Matt, give it up to you, man. You were right. 10-2 college football playoffs. You missed me. You messed me up on Louisville, but other than that, I just want you to say next week we got a chance at beating Texas
Oh
A&M.
yeah. I've been researching Texas A&M like crazy. I'm gonna start doing some film studies on them. But like I like the way Miami matches up with Miami's defense against their offense because we shut down FSU's quarterback. And honestly, Castellanos and the Texas A&M quarterback's a better passer, okay? But they're similar runners. And Heatherman's really been good at stopping the quarterback run that used to kill us, right? USF wasn't able to run on us. Castellanos got a little bit, not a lot. So if you take the Texas A&M quarterback run out of the equation, he's thrown for, I think, 25 touchdowns in 12 games. He's only had 2 games with over 300 yards. He's thrown some interceptions. I think he threw 3 interceptions in one game, a couple in another. When he's pressured, he gets in trouble. And they've only allowed, I think, 12 sacks all year. And I think they do lead the country in sacks themselves. So I think when they have the ball, I like it. I like that matchup. However, Carson Beck doesn't do well under pressure. So the massive key to win this game is Miami's offensive line. This Texas A&M defensive line, they do 3-man fronts, 4-man fronts. They are so multiple and so, I want to use the word duplicitous, but that's not the right word. So whatever it means, where they're just doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah,
like that's going to be the whole key to the game. Because I do think Miami will hold Texas A&M to 21 points, somewhere in there. But Miami's got to score 24 or more. And if Carson Beck doesn't have time to throw, if he gets rattled, we've seen what happens. He needs to have time to throw. He's amazing when he has time to throw. He's pinpoint, good decisions. He's got guys who can get open quickly. So this is another massive test for Shannon Dawson. And I would argue the last 4 games for Shannon Dawson have been as good for a Miami offensive coordinator as I can remember. The way that he turned this offense on its head using Gerard Pringle, who, by the way, if Mark Fletcher never gets hurt, I don't know how much action he'd have seen. If Jordan Lyle never gets hurt, I don't know that Pringle ever even sees the field this year. So thank God for that. And guess what? Malachi Toney, who, if they'd gotten any one of those 3 slot guys, including the guy we're going to be playing now, Concepcion, right?
Yeah.
If we got any of those three, we chased them all and offered millions of dollars to some of them. If we got any three of them, Malachi Tony's not even playing in games, which is crazy to me. Like, it all worked out. Like, sometimes things, it's like kismet, karma, it's like all the right stuff just coming from the cosmos, and it's happening the right way. Like Pringle and Malachi that's the whole offense. And those are two guys who probably weren't even supposed to play if you asked Mario Cristobal before the season when they were trying to get a slot guy in the portal, and they didn't expect Pringle to do anything. Like, that's what's crazy and beautiful about college football, right? Here we are in game 13, and those are your two guys, two true freshmen who are amazing athletes and players. And Carson Beck has thrived with them taking the lead role. You know, and again, we got to get a different person on, but I will say this. Malachi Tony averaged 7.1 touches per game and like 68 to 80 yards on average through the first 8 games of the year. No one remembers that. He didn't do a lot. The last 4 games, he averaged 12 and a half touches, including passing the ball for the first time in 4 games. He passed it once the first 8 games. He's passed it 6 times the last 4 games. Running the ball 3 times more than he did the first 8 games. And he's averaging 12 and a half touches on offense versus 7 touches. Like, finding those ways to get on the ball, Shannon Dawson has done an amazing job. And I'm the first guy who says he sucked those first 8 games. I told you guys why he sucked. And kudos to him, because a lot of coordinators are too damn stubborn. And I know fans, it was Mario holding him back. It wasn't really his offense. But whatever the case is, whether he,
it's forced to change.
Well, he told Mario, screw you, I'm going to get fired because I'm going to do it my way because I'm getting fired anyway. But whatever it was, like.
But I want to throw up a caution flag, and that is Texas A&M is going to have 2 weeks to prepare for this game, and all that Malachi Tony stuff is on. And
no. Gary, you're absolutely right. This is my last statement. I would just say, I believe for us to win, we're going to have some unexpected person that's going to have to break out to do it. Whether it be a JoJo trader, What I'm saying is, we may need to have like a Jordan Lyle or Pringle rush for more yards than we've ever seen him rush this year. Or another wide receiver that come up with big plays.
A&M just gave 217 rushing yards to Texas. So yeah, they can be.
So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, because you're right. They're gonna have 2 weeks to prepare, and it's gonna be tough.
If there's gonna be a surprise to me, it's gonna be that this turns back into a Mark Fletcher, Marty Brown.
Yeah, it better not. It better not be that A-B gap the whole damn game again.
It doesn't have to be A-B gap, but Miami's not going to be able to play finesse football for 4 quarters against Texas A&M. An SEC team like Texas A&M is different than North Carolina State and Syracuse. That's why I think that they're going to need a balance. You don't want to forget what got you here these last 4 weeks and what allowed you to dominate those bad ACC teams. But this is going to be a little bit different, I think. And Matt will tell us more about this in the next 10 days as he dives more and more into the film. But I think this is going to be a little bit different. And you're going to, at the core of this game, you are going to have to win the physical battles at the line of scrimmage to win.
A&M is 41st in the country against the run. That's their weakness. You got to be able to run the ball against them. And they have good defensive tackles. They really do. So, Pringle's going to be the guy. These are not – you can't do A and B gap against these big, powerful defensive tackles.
I didn't say A and B gap exclusively. That's not what I said.
Well, Fletcher's not getting outside like Pringle does. I'm sorry.
But but getting the 8 and 9 yard runs against Texas A&M is not going to be as easy as it was against Syracuse. Yeah. That's what I
said. Hey, guys, we're in the playoffs, man.
Thanks, this is the Sebastian show. We're already 40 minutes in, Ferman. You got to limit people to like 5 minutes on the playoff show. This is ridiculous.
All right,
Good
Sebastian.
job, Sebastian.
Thank you, man.
We can't let you be on for 40 minutes. There's 2 callers the whole damn show.
No, we won't. He was prepared. We were talking about a lot
give Greg 30 seconds. Everyone else gets 5 minutes.
Sebastian, I got to get you out of the studio too because we need the spot. So come back in on the front side. Let me go to Kane real quick. I don't know if he's working tonight. Oh, he's not working tonight.
First of all, hey, Matt, don't get soft, man. Don't give me that bullshit. Oh, 9-3. I don't give a damn. You lose 3, you should be gone. I'm happy we in, but don't get soft. Because a couple nights ago, I had your back. Don't get soft. Alabama shouldn't be in there. I don't want to hear 9-3. 9-3, man. It don't. If anybody 9-3 in our division, they ain't going. Oh, I forgot. SEC. It's all about money. F that bullshit. 2 tiers in a bucket. Screw it. We in. I ain't worrying about Texas A&M. I ain't worrying about nobody. Just win the damn game. But don't you get soft. Because if you do, I'm going to get the people in Congress to come check you out and see if you ain't messing around with some side money or something.
You're setting ice on me?
Like I said, Matt, Gary, do you believe Alabama should be in? 9-3. I'm just saying 9-3.
I don't like 3-loss teams getting in, but I understand. I understand why they got the benefit of the doubt over Notre Dame.
Okay, so they don't get penalized. BYU got their butt kicked, but they got penalized, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just saying. It don't make no difference. I'm not going to hold the lineup because ain't shit to talk about. We in. Let's celebrate. I don't smoke weed. I drink a lot of Mexican Coke. That's my problem. That's why I'm fat now. But hey.
Mexican Coke is good. It's not even
a lot of people don't know. I done put people on to it. But let's just enjoy the ride. And like you said, whatever we got to be physical, the small bags, the big
when you
bags.
say Mexican Coke, you're talking about the drink or the drugs?
The drink.
Oh, yeah.
I don't do no drugs, baby. I work 2 jobs. I don't have time for that.
Mexican cocaine. The Mexican Coke's no good, but the Mexican cocaine's very good.
Well, see, I'm already high. Every time I get on the show, I'm high. I'm high today. I'm happy. The Dolphins won. We're looking great. Daniel's going to keep his job. My Hoyas lost to Carolina, but hell, the Canes are in, and it's time to win. I told y'all the sun would rise, and the sun is rising. So go ahead and get the other callers.
You coming to College Station, Kane? You coming?
That's a tough one. That's tough. Christmas time coming and Costco, the way they work. I ain't gonna lie. If I don't make it, I'm supporting. Can't say I ain't been no support. I support hard as a mug as I can. I'm gonna do my best, but I say right now, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it, bro. I ain't even gonna front. No need to lie. Just be real.
We'll be spending a lot of time in Texas, though. The next game would be in Texas too, so we'll see.
Well, wait a minute. I thought the next game would be at Ohio. Well, if they win, they go to Ohio State, right?
No, Ohio State at AT&T Stadium in Dallas.
Oh, that's what. Now that might be possible.
The Cowboys Stadium.
See, this is what y'all do for a living. We ain't been in a playoff in so long. Hell, I don't even know how to adjust to it. It feels weird, don't it, fellas? But it's a damn good feeling. And Notre Dame I'm not gonna play in a bowl game. They a bunch of bitches. Sorry. So they call us criminals, right? Well, what are they? Crybabies? That's what I believe. I'm out, y'all. See you Tuesday. Love the 305. Ride or die, baby.
All right, Kane. Thanks for coming on. Let's go to.
I will not be going to Dallas because I was in Dallas for like 5 days. My son lived there for 4 months. I don't want to upset people that like Dallas, but it's just not for me, man. I went to the grassy knoll. That was my favorite part of all of Dallas was the grassy knoll, and it's just a piece of grass on a street with an X on it where Kennedy got shot. A couple X's. There's wasn't a lot to it. The AT&T district. The AT&T district was like. It was like a billboard, and that was about it. I mean,
and they have a lot of copycat restaurants from Miami. They have Shodell's there. They have Carbone
there.
They
have Shodell's? I didn't see that.
Yeah, they have Shodell's.
They also stole my credit card number there. I got fraud there. It was just a bad experience. I don't know, man. It wasn't for me.
All right, let's go to Greg. Greg, where are you? It looks like you're in an operating room.
I'm right here.
What's up, Greg?
I fell asleep during Sebastian's call.
Here we go.
That ought to be the longest call in the history of the show.
It was a little long, but he had a
lot of good stuff. All right, who cares? All right.
If you make signs, Greg, we'll let you be on for 40 minutes.
I want to congratulate Mario. Despite his horrendous game coaching, we got in the playoffs. Thank you. I want to congratulate Manny Diaz. I want to congratulate Manny Diaz as the coach of the worst team to ever win a P4 conference title. And I want to congratulate you and Gary for having something to cover that's not pathetic after 23 years.
Finally.
So, you think we've waited long enough?
I'm happy for you guys.
Best team we've had since I covered the 2001 Rose Bowl, I think. I don't think.
How about the 2002 team? That wasn't good.
If you're gonna lose in the Fiesta Bowl, yeah, I'll give them that too. That's true.
Okay.
I remember
All right,
sitting in the Rose Bowl thinking, man, this is great. We're going to be doing this every year. We're going to rotate between Phoenix, LA, and New Orleans. And every year we're going to
And
be in the big
Miami.
game.
And Miami.
Oh,
And
that's
Miami.
right. The championship game's in Miami, by the way.
That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
By the way, where's everything? Have you heard from him? Is he still alive?
He's disappeared on us. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, because he's full of crap. All right. Let's get to the next thing. Are you aware of the fact that Heatherman worked under Kurt Signetti for a couple years? He was his defensive coordinator at James Madison.
Oh, really?
Did you know that?
No.
Well, now you know.
Not 2 and 2 together now.
He's a pretty good coach, by the way. Okay.
Yeah.
I know Matt likes to delve into the film, but I've watched Texas A&M a lot. I'm worried about Cassius Howell against Markel Bell because he has trouble with fast pass rushes.
He does.
Smaller.
Smaller.
Scramble.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that kid, that's the one who has that guy has like what, 7.5 sacks or something this year?
No, he's got like 13 sacks or 12
tackles for loss. All right, whatever. I don't know.
And then this case.
That's why I laugh. You know, we talk about Reuben Bain, and everyone gets mad at me every time I say Reuben Bain hasn't been, you know, the real Reuben Bain. He was last game. I felt he was, but I mean, Reuben Bain's got what, like four sacks now on the year.
Yeah, Howell has 11
this
and a
kid
half.
at Texas A&M got 13.
Howell has 11.5 sacks. Yeah.
11.5.
No. Howell. The Howell.
Yeah. No, I know. That's the kind of stats I expected Reuben Bain to have.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. He's 6'2", 250 pounds. So yeah, I mean that's not a good matchup for Markel. You're 100% right. He has trouble with smaller, faster ends. They're gonna have to have a plan for him for sure. I mean, this Texas A&M defense, man. I mean, there's a reason they lead the country in sacks, and this is going to be a really interesting game because there are so many areas where Texas A&M's good and Miami's good. Right? That's one of them. Miami offensive line pass protection is arguably one of the best in the country, and Texas A&M's defensive pass rush is the best in the country, stats wise. And then on top of that, both these teams are in the top 10 in the country in time of possession. So this is a game where, you know, whoever can have the longer sustained drives probably is going to have a massive edge, because this is one of those games where you're going to have 7-8 possessions. It's not going to be one of these 10-11 high pace games where you're playing 70 or 80 reps. This is going to be a grinded out. You know, Texas A&M runs the ball 56% of the time. They run clock like crazy. And so does Miami, for that matter, as we all know. So the teams that can have those successful 10, 11 play drives, that's the team that's going to win, you know. And the teams that get behind the sticks with sacks at the wrong time, interceptions. By the way, Texas A&M's terrible at takeaways. As good as that defensive is at getting sacks, they only have, I think, 3 interceptions and like 5 or 6 fumble recoveries. That's it. The whole damn year. Their quarterback's thrown, I think, 10 or 11 interceptions. They have 3 as a secondary. So, like, Carson Beck threw as many interceptions in one game, threw more interceptions in one game than A&M has in the entire season, which is crazy. So there are some areas where I think Miami has the edge, but there are some really interesting little side, you know, who's going to be better, you know, who's going to control the ball better time possession-wise. Is that Miami offensive line good enough to finally be the team that stymies this Texas A&M disruptive front seven, you know, stuff like that. And you're going to find out very quickly with these game plans. Like, we better not be sitting here like the Louisville game being like, what the hell are these Miami coaches? What did they plan? Why are they planning it like this? It better not be that. You know, I want a downfield passing attack. Okay, not a scaredy cat, run up the middle, protect the ball. Let's see if we fall behind and then worry about opening it up. I do not want that. Take it to have it down. You're in the playoff. You're an underdog. Take it to their ass. Do not just run the ball up the middle and punt after 5 or 6 plays because you don't want to open it up and risk a turnover and kill yourself. You know,
don't run the ball up the middle exclusively. But if a team's got a great pass rush, your downfield passing game, you know, you better be protecting because
how about screen? How about a screen?
There are so many ways.
I don't think we've seen screens all year.
The way you attack A&M is by doing what they haven't seen you do. And guess what Miami never does? Misdirection stuff. If Shannon Dawson spends these 2 weeks looking at every team that does a ton of great misdirection and the types of runs that he doesn't do, then I think Miami's going to have a massive advantage. He needs to find, and especially when you're playing Ohio State next and then Georgia after that, he needs to find something that works for his team that he hasn't shown on tape the entire year and make it work. And if he can do a couple of those things consistently, you know, some looks they've never seen, which he never does, right? He really never does that. I mean, it's nice that he involved Malachi Tony a bunch of different ways. Malachi Tony can throw passes and run, whatever. I get it, but those are sort of gimmicky. I'm talking about schematically, like change what he's doing. You know, the motions before, the pre-snap motions, do stuff that they haven't seen. Line up in formations they haven't seen. Do some triple option stuff if you want to run the ball for 5, 6, 7 yards against a ridiculous front that's getting tons of pressure, right? You know, this and you know what else they haven't shown a lot of? Tight end passes down the field, right? And I understand that Elijah Lofton's been a little banged up, but he looked a lot better the last game. And I really think in that first series, I really think that there's so many ways they can use him that they haven't shown on film at all in 2 years, knowing his diverse set of skills. You know, Sebastian was mentioning, hey, maybe it'll be somebody we don't know. If there's going to be somebody we don't know that wins this game, it's going to be Elijah Lofton. I keep saying it every damn week. Like, he's going to break out. He's going to break out. But if not now, when? Like, that's who you need, right? He's your outlet. If they're getting pressure on you, and if they're bracketing Malachi Tony, you know, I don't know if CJ Daniels will be back, whatever, but he's been a non-factor for weeks as he's been hurt. Keelan Marion's been up and down a little bit, but he's good enough. But again, if you need to get the ball out fast, and if they're taking away Malachi, to me, Elijah Lofton is going to be the key to the game. And I know I say it a lot, but I really believe it.
And what I said at the beginning of the year will finally come true. I expected Elijah Lofton to be a big part of this team. He hasn't been. Okay,
I want to ask you something. Alabama was the #1 seed in the SEC, but they were the fifth. They were fifth in the SEC in seeding in the playoff. They were behind 4 other teams. What other team can get blown off the field, lose twice in November, and still make the playoffs? If their name was any other team, LSU, would they have gotten in?
Probably not. I mean, you're making a great point. You know,
it's ridiculous.
They're still getting the.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They're still getting the Saban preferential treatment. I mean, they are. I mean, now, but in fairness, if you're comparing them to Notre Dame, they had a couple better wins than Notre Dame had. Notre Dame best win was USC. You know, Alabama did have a few good wins,
and they got blown out twice this year.
Yes, they did.
Okay. Now, but is the SEC like the mafia or something? Are they running the whole show or something?
They run a lot.
I saw somebody suggested, I think it was from the Big Ten and the SEC, a 14-team playoff with 4 teams from the SEC, 4 from the Big Ten, 2 from the Big 12, 2 from the ACC, and then 2 other teams. What if FSU and Clemson come back, and Miami and SMU?
You can't put a number on it.
Teams in? It's a joke.
You can't do that. I think I think there's 17 teams in the SEC now. I think it's a pretty fair assumption that you could find 4 pretty good ones every year.
Right.
I mean, in a 17-team SEC, I don't have any problem with that. You know, I mean, this year they went to a 5th. I mean, I don't know. It could have gone either way.
Okay. My last point. Remember last week I said maybe we should cancel Notre Dame next year? You think there's a chance Notre Dame might cancel us next year? How about that?
No,
why not?
Miami, Texas A&M were the only 2 marquee games they had this year.
Alabama just canceled South Florida to play Chattanooga next year instead. I mean,
nothing would surprise me, honestly.
What's going to stop Notre Dame from canceling us next year?
No, they will.
They can-
But people are having to mix to adjust to a ninth conference game. The FCC's doing it. The ACC's doing it. It's a good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, the reason
More-
Notre Dame
more-
won't
more
cancel it, Greg, is
competition.
that they have us at home. They're not going to cancel their own home game.
Yeah.
If they were here, they
They
might.
have it home for the next 3 times we play them somehow. I don't know how that works. All right, let somebody else get on. Congratulations to Mario. It's all up from here.
It's already
Next
up.
year, 12-0, like he should have been this year. See you later.
Next year
All
they'll
right,
be
Greg.
competing for a national title. I have no doubt about
12-0.
it.
All right, Greg.
12-0.
Thank you.
I'll take 11-1 and then win the national title. But I honestly, sometimes I think it's better for a team to lose one game during the regular season. I feel like it keeps them grounded. It's like me. I make one prediction that goes wrong. I got to get the rest right. I can't have any more
You
wrong.
never get grounded, though. That's the difference.
That's true.
Your ego is always running rampant. All right, let's go to K-Mac. K-Mac, you with us? Welcome
Yes,
back
sir.
to
Yes,
CaneSport
sir.
Live.
Hey,
How are
Gary,
you?
what's up, Matt?
What's up? What's up?
What's going on, brother? How you doing? Hey, you guys stole a lot of my thunder tonight already. First thing I'm gonna start off by saying is, first of all, congratulations to you two as well as myself. I feel like I endure a lot too, having to see the stuff I had to see with this team for the last few years. So I'm excited and congratulations across the board. First thing I will say, I have to agree with you guys. I do think Alabama deserved it. Looking at their schedule, that gauntlet, that 4-game stretch. The only part about I said I'm a little bit kind of conflicting on is one of the things that the committee, and I'm using their logic, was how teams look at the end of the year. The last 5 games, Bama has not looked good. They haven't looked good. They squeaked by a couple of games. They've been blown out a couple of games, and so it's like, I get it. They played a gauntlet of the schedule. The reason why I gave them a little bit of sympathy is because, let's be honest, guys, if we played their schedule, if Miami was in front of their schedule and not the name Alabama, we'd be having the same fit, saying, look at what we played. Look at that gauntlet of the schedule we got. Yeah. We played 4 teams in the middle of the year that were ranked. We'd say the same thing. So I give them the benefit of the doubt, and I say I think they deserve it. I think where the committee screwed up was the moving stuff around. And I thought there was no doubt that Miami should have always been, but Matt, like you called it, they should have put Miami in earlier. They should have put them over them a lot.
Of course. Earlier. Well, you know what's funny? So I posted on the message board as soon as I saw Alabama was losing by a ton. I posted on the message board. I said I don't see a world where they are not in the playoffs. I post it, and then I look at the odds, and I go on FanDuel and on whatever other site, and I'm like, oh my God, the odds are awful. Like Alabama's minus 300 to be in, Miami's plus 260 to be in, and I turned to my wife. I know you guys are all shocked that somebody spends time with me most of the hours of the day. I feel bad for her, but she does. And I said to her, I said, oh my God, these fans are going to kill me. I just posted that I can't see a way Miami wouldn't be in the playoffs. Right. But now I looked at the odds and like I'm a big numbers guy and stats guy. And like if the odds makers are saying Miami's not in, that's money. Like that's their job. That's what people are putting money on. I'm like, they're not going to be in. And so I started posting like, I don't understand. I literally posted another thread. I said, I don't understand, but the odds have Miami not in. And like, it didn't make sense to me. And you hit it on the head. The CFP rankings from the start were flawed and wrong, and they are terrible human beings and terrible statistical, mathematical minds. Right. They're literally morons. I mean, I don't understand how they can jerk around every single program on the bubble week after week after week with no consistency, and then just make something up at the end to fit some narrative that doesn't even exist. It's like if you watch Winnie the Pooh, you watch The Wizard of Oz, and you watch Freddy Krueger, and you take little bits of each of those movies and you make them into one movie. It would make no sense. Yep. That's what they did back to back to back weeks. They put 3 movies that made no sense together, and they tried to explain how they all go together. Exactly. And it was like the worst thing I've ever heard. And they all need to be fired from their jobs with their schools and from the CFP committee. And that's with Miami being in and making us happy. Right. Because they're a disaster for college football. They're a disaster for me mentally. They made me wear a heart monitor for 2 weeks. And I'm like over them. I want them gone yesterday. Yeah.
No, they need to be. Their inconsistency painted themselves in a corner that they had to fight themselves the way out of. And I feel bad for Notre Dame because they should have felt like they were going to get in. The way the committee did everything they did, they made them feel secure in their spot. Yes. And I do feel bad for them from that standpoint. But do I think they got it right? I don't feel bad.
they were the girl who was dating a guy, and the guy's dating some side chick, and is waiting to see if it works out with the side chick, and then breaks up with her at the last second, and like goes off with the side chick. You know, they just went to Hawaii, they had a great time, and they get back, and he's like, "You're not for me, sorry, bye." You know, that's
at the end of the day, they got it right. They got the two teams right. It's unfortunate with the having to bring in the group of four or the group of five conferences and all that kind of mess some things up. I do have I think a formula that could clean all that up. I'll talk about that later. Sure. But talking about the game plan, I'm looking for, I think it has to be a mix of weeks 1 through 4 in the last 4 weeks. They have to find a way. They're going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to be able to show A&M that they're physical as well. They cannot sit back and just allow them to dictate the line of scrimmage. They're going to have to set. They're going to have to set that pace. They're going to have to put that boundary in and say, we're putting our foot in the sands, boys. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be here all day. And they have
Miami's greatest strength is its capability of playing different styles of football.
Correct.
And
but
I think this game is going to call for the Notre Dame style of football. That's what
and there's nothing intimidating by Texas A&M. I think people are forgetting about what they looked like against South Carolina. They had no business winning that game. South Carolina gave that game away, being up 30-3 at halftime, and they just completely laid an egg the second half and did nothing with it. But that Texas A&M team is not scary. We've played them. We played them twice. We had a home and home a couple years ago, so we've seen a little bit what they're about. I know it's under Jimbo Fisher. But, in terms of the type of athlete we're going to see, nothing's changed. And so I think Miami, from that standpoint, it helps us a little bit. I don't think that Texas A&M has seen anything in terms of what we can do. I think we have the ability to do whatever we can. We can fit what we need to fit. I'm just saying I think it's going to take all aspects from the first 4 weeks. That middle 4 weeks is where everything went to hell. That middle 4 weeks, games 5 through 8, it was just trash. It
became too predictable.
Yes, we can't do that.
Predictability is gone now, though. Miami could do more things on offense than that, and you just got to make it all work.
But I agree, Matt. We have to find a way to give Beck the time. We have to go downfield too. We can't give them. We can't make them feel like we can't do anything. We have to be able to show them we can do all of it. To make them to guard 5 to 50 yards, we have to make them guard the whole field, not make them feel like they have to guard the first 10 yards or the back 10 yards. They have to guard the whole field.
Yeah, they're you can mention Deuce a little from Notre Dame, a little from the last 4 weeks. I honestly do believe they need to find something completely different. And Shannon Dawson said he looks at all different NFL film and this and that. There's stuff out there that they can do conceptually. I'm not talking about a trick play here or there, which honestly is what Shannon Dawson's been doing a little bit of, which makes it seem like a different offense. I mean, a lot. Like even the last 4 games, I did a whole film study about how it's a new offense. The truth is 80% of it's the same crap. But the 20% that's new is what's so energizing, what has the defense off balance. All you need is every 10 plays, a couple of different looks that the other team hasn't seen on film, and they freak out. These are 18, 19, 20-year-olds. They're like, what the hell's going on? And then when they see something they've seen already, they're not trusting their eyes anymore. And all Shannon Dawson has to do is find those 2 out of 10 plays, 2 out of 7 plays, to make the defense not trust its own eyes. That's it. And if he can do that,
and he's been doing a great job of that.
Yes, I agree.
He's been doing great at that.
And Matt, and I'm not talking about using the exact same plays, but I'm saying in terms of the concept is make sure that they understand they're going to have to guard the whole field. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Whatever he puts in that's new, let's go with it, because this is the most important game, fellas. And the reason why, this is the only team that will have 2 weeks to prepare outside of the national championship game. After this, it's only 1 week preparation. So we have the same advantage as anybody else when it comes to if we beat them.
Ohio State, it's more like 10 days, but yeah.
Yeah, 10 days, but yeah. But I mean, the time period is not what Texas A&M is going to have. So we have to have a good game plan, and we have to have stuff that they haven't seen, because they have 2 weeks to look at everything, and we can't go in there stagnant. We have to stay on that metal. What we look like those last 4 weeks, that desperation, that urgency we played with, we have to keep that edge moving forward. I don't care who it is. Don't be happy to be there. Let's go ahead and get on the dance floor. You know what I mean? I don't want to just be happy to walk in the door. I want to do something while we're there. So hopefully they do. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is just what I think would personally help in terms of the playoff seeding. This is just a concept. I think the 12, whoever the top 12 are in terms of the CFP, 1 through 12, and I think you take the 4 group of 5 champions and rank them 1 through 4, and they play the 9 through 12 seeds. And the home team of those games will be whoever's the higher rank. So if the number one, group of 5 team is higher ranked than whatever it is, 12, the CFP 12 seed is, they would play on their home field, vice versa, whatever. And so now you would have a bye for the
You would need
team.
an extra week to do this, but it's a great idea.
Well, like right now, think about it. We have a bye week now. That week, make that a game week. If you on the bubble
Play-in, like they do in the basketball tournament.
Yes, sir. So last week, just like this past weekend, this weekend was conference championships. Instead of having a bye next week, you play that group of 4 versus the bottom 4 seeds of the CFP. They play that week. Then that means seeds 5 through 8, they get a bye and they're ready. And then that last week you get, the way it's supposed to be. But I think that way now you're getting the 12 power guys. If the group of 5 want to be in the dance with the big guys, you can get 4 of them in. You're just going to have to beat the worst of the 12 that we put in, and then move on from there. And wherever those chips fall, they fall. But you get 12
I'm on board. I'm on board with that. I like that.
Yeah, I
so
agree.
Now, you get Texas in, you get Vanderbilt, and you get these guys in,
right?
And now you play the Tulanes and all those guys. You fight it out, and then work your way. So it is an extra game. But if you want to be in the playoffs, if you're a bottom 4 seed, we're playing an extra game. But
it's way better than just giving them spots. I mean, James Madison, I think, is going to play Oregon. They're going to get killed.
You're going to get destroyed. We know that. Yeah. We all know that. And I think
it's a stupid waste of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, K-Mac.
Oh, okay. Well, conference championships, I don't think you have to hurt them, but I do think that there should be a penalty because if you tell guys that they're locked in, then what that does is they allows them to sit guys and rest guys unnecessarily if they know they can't move. So it still has to be a penalty with it, but it should be a bonus as well. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Congratulations. Go Canes.
Yes, sir.
All right, K-Mac. Thanks for coming on the show, man. Let's go real quick. Magda, T-Dog wanted you to do shots with him. So before I send you to sleep, I'm going to bring.
How can I already brushed my teeth? I can't do shots. What are you, crazy? You know what time it is?
You always got excuses, bro. I tell you, you worse than this damn committee, man. So first,
that's the biggest insult. You take that back right now.
I can't think of anything worse than that. But anyway, yeah, congratulations to the Canes fan base, man, especially you boys for keeping us plugged in as you normally do, keeping us informed, giving us a home when we need to escape from the reality of the real world. So thank y'all for that. I took a nap, so I didn't get the email until later, man. I had a busy weekend, but anyway, just a few things. So going back to this whole Bama thing about why they shouldn't be penalized, and y'all kept saying something about like the stretch that they had, like that 4 or 5 game stretch of tough teams. Who did they play? Like Vanderbilt, I give Vandy. I think Vandy was okay, but Tennessee, they don't have a defense. Missouri, whatever. Like
I think that win at Georgia was huge for them.
Right,
winning
the
at
Georgia win was everything. But again, when you combine that with the Georgia performance last night, with the Florida State performance the other night, with the struggle against Auburn, who are they really? They really showed
at Georgia versus Vandy, at Missouri versus Tennessee, at South Carolina versus LSU versus Oklahoma. That's not easy.
They played out of their ass against Georgia. I give them
that.
But
it's better than what Notre Dame had. It's better than what Notre Dame had, and that's what they were comparing.
Texas A&M had.
But then again, the committee told us it's all about the eye test, right? So what have they looked like lately, right?
Right. Not good.
Lately they struggled against Auburn. Lately they struggled. The 3 of us combined had more rushing yards than Bama last night.
You know what though? They're favored in their opening game against Oklahoma, right? So I mean, that says something.
Shit don't mean nothing. What is that? They're gonna be favored. They're gonna get their ass kicked, man. I'm telling you, that team is going this way, bro. This way.
Listen, they looked terrible against Georgia. I couldn't believe they didn't move. I was sure they were going to move down.
I'm sorry. There's no way I could watch that game last night and be like, yeah, you're going into the playoffs.
I thought they were out. I thought Alabama was out after the game. And that's what I posted.
Bro, like, there was a point, I think it had been like the third quarter, and they hadn't even made it to the positive 40 yet.
They couldn't move the ball. They couldn't run the ball all year. They had one game. They ran the ball okay. They can't run the ball.
And that's my whole point. It's like,
no, they're not.
Well, the playoffs is about running and defense, and they don't have a running game. So it's like, come on, bro. Like,
no, I get it.
That was Nick Saban pulling strings behind the scenes. I would have totally wanted this. I can't stand Notre Dame, but I would prefer them being in the playoffs just because I want a quality product. The
problem with Notre Dame is who have they beaten? At least Alabama's beaten 3 ranked teams. You know?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But you can look at the talent on their team. You can look at that receiver that they have. You can look at that running back, and you can tell, they will be a tough out. You're not going to just, destroy Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll move on from that. My other thing I wanted to mention was, so remember I kept saying for years and years about 5-star coaching, 5-star coaching, 5-star coaching, right? What do y'all think about that guy in Indiana, man, and how he brought those guys with him? He don't have a whole bunch of 5 stars and 4 stars, but look at what he did to OSU. He made them look pedestrian, bro.
You know what it is, though? If you get a quarterback on any team right now who's top 5 in the country, you're going to be in good shape if you have a decent defense.
But Matt, it can't just be the QB. You have to have something for that QB, a system, a guy that can unleash that quarterback. It can't just be a quarterback.
But remember, at most of these levels, if you're a top half program, you're going to have good coordinators. I mean, you just are. And now if you have a decent defense, a good enough coordinator, and a great quarterback, like a top NFL level quarterback, you're going to probably be pretty good and look pretty good. And I was surprised. I was honestly surprised at the line. I think it was 4.5. Ohio State was favored. And I told my friends, like, who do I bet on? And I don't like giving advice. But I said, whenever I see a line that doesn't make sense to me, and where I'm like, why is Ohio State not favored by, like, even on the road, essentially, like by at least 7 points, right? Like, they're clearly the best team in the country. I'm like, there's always a reason for it. I said, so I would just take Indiana because it makes no sense for them to only be favored by that much. I found it a very small, weird line. And you know what? Indiana was right. Like, that, it was right. The line was right.
I like your algorithm. That was smart, Matt.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. Bet on a team where it doesn't make sense for them.
But to continue this topic, it behooves Miami to continue year after year to not just stack physical talent, but they got to continue to stack a brain trust too. As far as scheming, analytics, consultants, somebody in the box, whatever. You can't just rest on getting as much talent as possible. The game has changed, y'all. This ain't like the 80s and the 90s where you just out talent teams. You got coaches calling their coaching friends trying to get an edge on Miami. They're going to treat us like the Super Bowl, right? So they're going to do everything they can to beat us. We have to do everything that we can to stay a step ahead as well. We can't just rely on throwing teenagers out there and say, hey, go make a play. We got to put our guys in a position that is beneficial for them, and we got to out scheme sometimes. Sometimes we just got to, if that requires a trick play, do the trick play. If that requires having a different front, do a different, if that requires running on the outside, whatever it requires. Like, we can't just rest on, I'm going to out physical you, I'm going to out Iman on you, like, no, that's not what it is, bro. Like, we got to have another layer of, I just think about the Jimmy Johnson days and how he was innovative and bringing safeties to linebackers and linebackers. Like, that was innovation, bro. Linebackers to ends. Like, we have to have that in our pocket as well. Yeah. But it might not be that. It might be today's version of that, right? We just have to have something else in our pocket besides go out there and make a play. Yeah. My last thing I wanted to say was going back to Bain. I think Gary and I I give you shit a lot on the message board, Gary, but you and I are lockstep on this one, man. We I think Bain is not being utilized right, man. He needs to go inside sometimes, at least sometimes. If he wants to stay outside sometimes, okay, fine. But he's not making the impact.
That sailed. He's not going to
change.
He's
way too good of a player to be making the level
playoffs,
of impact that he's making.
And I'm telling you, these teams who we're about to be playing, they have been looking at this tape all season long. He is not making an impact on the edge, man.
I agree.
He popped a little bit against Pitt. Okay. But think about like 5-6 games. Like even my wife was like, "Is Bain playing tonight?" I was like, "Yeah, he's out there, baby."
He had a really hot first month of the year, and in the middle of the season, he's disappeared. Yeah, and then he woke up against Pittsburgh. He had a little bounce against Pittsburgh.
And that's what I'm talking about with schemes. Like, we got to figure out a way strategically to get him to pop some type of way, and that might mean he can't be outside. He might have to be inside. That means now you bring in Blunt on the outside, or you bring in Lightfoot on some plays, like whatever on passing plays, obviously, because he's light. But yeah, like, we have to be strategic about how we're using some of these players instead of just feeding into them and letting them do what they want to do.
Yep.
So, all right, man. Even though you disappointed me again,
sorry. Let's have the show at like 3 p.m. I'm a day drinker. I don't drink at
I
night.
agree. I agree with that. 3 is a little early.
Listen, yesterday I went to Green Street Cafe with my
your
friend.
ass Jake. 3 o'clock. That's early, man.
3 o'clock. I went to Green Street yesterday at halftime of the BYU game on Saturday. Was that yesterday? It feels like 10 years ago. Yeah, yesterday. Halftime of the BYU game. Went to Green Street, got myself an old fashioned, sat there and watched the game for an hour and a half. You know, that's what I do. I don't take shots at 9:15 at night. Like, that's just not me. Look at this face. You think I'm drinking at night?
Well, look at this face. You see how young I look, man? I'm like a young people. No, we're actually the same age. It's just, black don't crack. But no, I get it. I get it though. I get it.
All right, T-Dog. Thank you, man.
Nice.
We'll see you next time. All right, Matt. Gonna let you go get some beauty rest. Any parting thoughts?
We got Mario 6:20 a.m. I'll be ready. I'll be up and ready. We'll be hearing some words from the coach. What? That's it. I'm gone.
All right, that's it. That's all you got.
I mean, I'll just tell you, just big picture. It's been. This is to all the Miami fans out there, right? It's been a really long horror movie. It's been, like you go to the theater and it's like a 3-hour movie, and for the first 2 hours and 50 minutes, the guy's being chased by some dude with a bloody knife and a mask on or whatever, and it's a freaking just total horror show. That's what it's been like for the last 20 plus years. And then at the end, the sun comes out. It turns out it was just like a little kid in a mask, and he was holding a toy, and he wasn't really trying to hurt you. He's just thought you were playing a game with him, and everything was just fine. Like we're at that point in the movie where it was just a kid chasing us the whole time, and it was just a bad dream, and we're waking up, and like the sun's shining, and everything's great. Like that's where we're at. It's really nice, regardless. And I said this before we even made the playoffs. I was, and as negative Nancy as people say I am, negative Matt, I guess, should be replaced for negative Nancy, right? I'm
negative Nancy's cool. You're Nancy.
As much as I say when I see things are wrong, I've consistently said all year and last year and even the year before, I said you can see what Mario's building. I said it takes time. It may not happen. And yeah, I predicted 10-2 in the playoffs before this season. And I think I predicted, what was it, 10 wins last year also, and then obviously we thought it would be a lot worse before that, but you could see it coming because you see how he's doing it, and he's doing it the right way. And whether we made the playoffs now or not, it didn't matter. Like, I know fans would be upset and, oh my gosh, we lost 2 horrible games.
It matters.
Regardless of all that, as you look big picture right now, if you're a Miami fan, regardless of the playoffs, you should have been happy. You should have been happy with the way the season went, even with the 2 bad losses, because you see the young guys emerging. That's the key to the whole damn thing. It's not the transfers you bring in for 1 year. It's the core of the team that he's building and developing. When's the last time we saw a guy come in and get better as the year went on? When's the last time we saw a guy get better year to year? Look at Justin Scott. Justin Scott wasn't ready last year as a 5-star. So you know what? They didn't play him. And now when they needed him, the last 4 games, when David Blay was hurt, he was prepared. He was ready. They built him up. He wasn't strong enough last year to play. You could see the work he put in. He's a freaking playmaker, and he's the epitome of this whole team. He's just
ACC
better and developing, and talent is coming in and developing, and it just stacks and stacks and stacks, and that's how you get to where we're at and where we're going.
Okay, but all that said, no ACC title game, no college football playoff.
The ACC title game is semantics. ACC title game is semantics based on weird
people would have been happy, Matt. No,
people should have been happy. That's all I'm saying.
No, they wouldn't have been.
Not with the season's result, with the big picture, how you see it building. Do you understand? I'm not saying be happy you don't make the ACC the playoffs. Nobody's happy not making the ACC title game and not making the playoffs. You should have been happy seeing what's being built. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, people are happy now, though. All right, thank you so much. Have a good sleep. We'll
congratulations, everybody! It happened. It's a miracle. It's a miracle.
All right, let's bring in. Let's get rid of Matt. Bring in the truth teller he wants to be called. I call him the voice of the fan, Bruce Warner. Bruce, before we get out to more of our guests, any opening thoughts from you?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. So first of all, before I even start, I want to go back a little bit to you talking about being at Texas A&M. So a couple of years ago, we played them down there, and Gary called me before the game, and he's walking on the sidelines, and he's stepping in horse duty. Remember that?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, they got
Remember that?
dogs shitting all over the visitor side. I mean, horses shitting all over the visitor sideline. I've never seen anything like that, and they're doing it on purpose.
And you're trying to talk to me. You're stepping in the crap. And
It
actually,
goes
when you
all
saw
over
it on
the place.
TV, you could see
They,
the
they
horses
were
stomping.
parading the horses up and down the visitor sideline.
So good luck going back there again. Are you going back, right? You're going to be there.
Well, I'll be there. Yeah, no doubt. I'm going to be
Unbelievable.
down there. I'm going to listen. I
We're
have a soft
boots, man.
I have a soft spot for horses. I'm not going to like do anything crazy, but somebody needs to be patrolling the Miami bench and make sure those damn horses aren't walking on the Miami bench. I mean, it smelled like there was like no tomorrow there, Bruce. It was unbelievable.
Disgusting. And anyway, so I'll repeat what everybody else said. Congratulations to Mario, the staff, the players, anybody involved with it. You guys, of course. It's a hell of an accomplishment to get in there. Although, here's my although I wish we would have beaten SMU and we would not have had to go through all this crap the last month, because it's been terrifying. You see Heather Dinich, they're not going to be in. They're not going to be in. We're in.
Right
The
up
only
to the
thing, thing I say
second,
about
yeah.
Bama's 3 losses, I think they should have put Bama 10 and us 9. They still have 3 losses. We only have 2. We played 2 teams that beat us that have positive records. They're not 2 and 10. So I think that wouldn't have been as bad if Alabama was 10 and we were 9, and Notre Dame couldn't say a damn thing. That's what do you think about that?
Yeah, that would have been one idea for sure. I was kind of surprised. I didn't expect.
I don't think Notre Dame has
I didn't think we'd end up going to Texas A&M.
Bama.
I had bought a plane ticket to go to Norman, Oklahoma. I had not expected us to go to Texas A&M. I had to pull a quick switch today, but it's about the same. Yeah.
That place isn't any better with the horses. The bathrooms have, I don't know if they've upgraded them since the last time I was there, but that place is a dump. Who the hell wants to go to Oklahoma?
Texas A&M is not a dump by any stretch of the imagination. But those damn horses, the way they parade them on the visitor sideline before the game is crazy.
Yeah, it's not like it's 2 hours before and they clean it up.
No, they pretend to clean it up.
Okay. Well, let's see what else I have. The Power 5 teams, they don't belong in there. It just mucks everything up, and it's just wrong. If they would have gotten rid of that, we would have been in the top 12, which is what you really want to be, not 10, to deal with this other nonsense. But I think they have to make some tweaks and some changes. I agree with that. But I think Notre Dame, if they have a beef with anybody, it's Alabama, not us. We beat them. They're a 3-loss team. Notre Dame's got 2 losses, and they didn't even move them down. Why didn't they move them down? Just a token to make it look legitimate. Make them 10. They're still in.
It was a tough call, Bruce. They literally did stay up till 2:30 in the morning last night debating Alabama and Notre Dame, and they continued their discussions on it this morning. I mean, it was not clear cut. It was not easy, but they made the right decision, in my opinion, because anything that makes Notre Dame pay for not being in a conference, to me, is a great thing for college football. They had an opportunity to make them pay here this year because it was not clear cut, and I hope they made them pay for that very reason, because they deserve it. They're like, there's no reason why Notre Dame should be allowed to be a one-off while everybody else plays in conferences.
Well, I don't disagree with that. But we want them in the ACC. I don't want them.
I think it would be great if they were in the ACC, because it would bring the ACC balance with the Big Ten and SEC.
Right. We'd have an uneven amount of teams. We'd have 17 teams?
That might be 18, but I mean, listen,
2 spots to get into a title game in the ACC. That's a lot.
Maybe you'd be able to get 3 spots if you improve the conference. So we'll see. I'm not afraid of competition, Bruce. You're either good enough or you're not good enough. I mean, it's like if you're not good enough to win your games in the regular season, you're not going to be good enough to win your games in the postseason. All right, let's
Greg McElroy say that Miami is a team that no one wants to play in this particular field.
He's right. If Miami shows up the way Miami showed up for 10 games this year, he's absolutely right.
Right. If they show up like they did the last 4 games, I'll be happy. But 100%. I think in addressing some of these comments, Miami has to do what they've done in the last 4 games. They cannot go run, pass. They got to throw on first down, get those linemen out of the box, and create some things that they just don't expect. I don't think they could sit there and be 3rd and 9, and Beck's not going to get killed. He's going to get whipped. They got to create things.
I think they're going to have to be physical at points of the game. I really do.
There's no question they got to be physical on both sides.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be a little less finesse than these last 4 games, where you could be 100% finesse like they were. I don't know that you can get away with that at Texas A&M. I think their defense is a little bit better. All right, let's go to Jake. Jake, welcome back to CaneSport Live. How you doing tonight? First of all, how'd the wife like the birthday dinner the other night?
First of all, are you still married?
Fantastic. Yeah, no, it was excellent. Yeah, it was her 40th, so kind of a big one. Although we had a big celebration. We were in Las Vegas for the F1 race. We went down to Phoenix, so just kind of a little.
So you're living the life, is what you're saying.
What's that? Living the life? Oh,
you're living the life.
It's good. I can't complain. Actually, let me bear with me 1 second here. I'm going to put you guys center screen here, so I'm not like looking off to the side. Wow, this has been a bipolar week. This morning, like yesterday, I would have thought there's no chance in hell they keep Miami out of it. Then this morning I wake up, it's about 8 o'clock or so, and I'm reading all the ESPN, CBS, this and that, and it's looking like oh man, we're gonna get fucked. It's gonna happen again, and they're gonna drop us. And Notre Dame's in, Alabama's in, and I was resigned. We went skiing today for the first time this year, and I'm just like, all right, ski season started, and lo and behold, I'm driving up to Park City, and one of my buddies texts me, and he's like, "Yeah, you're in." I'm like, "No, I couldn't be." I said, "No, you mean to tell me they left out Alabama or Notre Dame and put Miami in? Bullshit." I said, "No way." Yeah, sure enough. So this is wow, what a wild ride it's been this last month. But
hey, Jakester, we also had a hell of a recruiting class on Tuesday.
Oh my goodness!
So it's a good week all around for the Canes.
You know what? Like this month has really it's turned the page for me, because whether was it Matt who alluded to Shannon Dawson basically telling Mario, "Hey, you're not getting fired if this season goes to shit. I'm calling the offense the way I want to see it." However it was, we changed things up, we adapted, and we got better. Like, how many times in the last 2 decades have we seen Miami come out to a hot start? We've always had talent to some degree or the other. Maybe not national championship talent, but in terms of talent enough to win the ACC, Miami's had it for a long time, barring the Clemson run that happened for 5 years or so. But this year we actually got better as the season progressed, and that's something we just haven't seen in a very long time, and that means something. I said it last week. Like, regardless of who I would have been fuming mad if we missed the playoff, not because of something that Mario did or the team did, but just the principle. I said last week, I said, if Notre Dame's in and we're out, cancel the game, because it's bullshit. And if the games don't matter, why play them? Choose the easiest path to the playoff. That's what Notre Dame tried to do this year. It didn't work out for them. I actually, my wife's a Bama fan, so I had to capitulate a little bit, but they have a massively more difficult schedule. Notre Dame played 6 of the lowest ranked Power 4 teams this year. Mm-hmm. So going on a 10-game winning streak, who gives a shit? You played nobody. Like, big deal. You beat up punching bags. You were shadow boxing for half the season.
That is true, and not that many people bringing it up. But you know what else is interesting? Real quick, we didn't win the ACC title. We didn't get into the title game. But guess who's in the playoffs? We are.
We are. We are. Wouldn't that be the most amazing thing in the world if we won the national championship before we won the ACC.
Before we won the conference.
Funny.
Wouldn't that be something? And you know what?
Hey, it could happen. If
It
we're
could
there.
happen.
Yeah.
Who scares you after that game last night? Who scares you out there? I'm not saying there's
Everybody.
You know, what's that?
Everybody. You know who scares me? Mario and the team. They got to show up.
This is a very good tournament.
He always says, I don't care about
Bingo.
them. I only care about us.
Bingo.
I care about us.
A-gap Mario scares the shit out of me, but laying loose Pittsburgh Mario, oh man, I'll tell you what, if that guy shows up to the stadium, there is not a team in the
He had
country.
fun at that game, right, Gary? He was
Didn't
having
he?
a good time.
Oh, he was loving it. And
Yep.
so, you know what? Let it rip. You're on borrowed time. Like nobody thought a week ago we were getting the in here. So, you know what? Quit the A-gap shit. I get it. You want to do your thing. Play to win. And even more so than that, look, credit to ESPN and a lot of the pundits out there. We always talk about, Miami, it's us against the world, but a lot of people called out bullshit in the last week or two. And I think that's a big reason why we're in, because Gary, you had trust in humanity. I don't want to, especially with college football. And
I just felt at the end of the day when they got to this final ranking that they had to acknowledge head to head.
You would hope so, but it sure didn't look like that. And
I
especially
was
with
never
that,
worried about it because if they didn't do it, they would have been blowing up their entire process.
you are a far more generous human being than I am.
Listen, I ended up being right, thank God. But
yeah, you did.
I even posted on the message boards a few weeks ago that I'm not gonna waver on that until they give me a reason to. I mean, I really felt like when they got to the end of the road here that they would do it the right way, and they did.
They did. Hey, Jakester, so just a quick comment about how we have to be ready for A&M. A bunch of former players I've spoken to this past week all tell me the same thing. Let the dogs out.
Yeah.
Play like dogs. That's what we need, and we need to play with a chip and an attitude and effort. Just kick somebody's ass.
They'll have a chip.
Make this like the Cotton Bowl and when we beat the crap out of Texas.
You don't need 100 yards and penalties, but
But if we win by 43 points, I'll take it.
But they'll have a chip on their shoulder.
Hey, how about a 90 Cotton Bowl remake there? Let's just beat them 50-3 with 200 yards of penalties. I love that. But a few things with that. I know Bain has not been what everyone hoped, especially in the middle of the season. But the guy came on late, and you know what? Dude's been disrupting, and I'll tell you what. One of the things I'm really looking forward to, I put the request form in. I'm hoping to go to this game, even though it's goddamn what a pain in the ass it is to get out there and actually get to that game. I'm not looking forward to that, but we'll see. I'll ride it all the way back to Miami. Hopefully, we'll get a home game in this playoff here, but. That dude disrupted things this season. And you know what? In the playoff, I don't know. A lot of teams just basically like capitulated. Hey, we're just getting rid of the ball. 1 second, 2 seconds tops. Ball's out. I don't think you can do that in the playoff. I don't know that you can sell out. And I think he's gonna have a big impact. And I'm excited this is not the last we're seeing the Bain-Mesidor combo. It's been a lot of fun to watch this year. They're the best in college football. I'm glad it didn't go out with a fizzle. It was a nice showing at Pittsburgh, but that we get to see it in something meaningful.
And you know what else, though, Jake? You're right about that. But you know what else is going on with those two guys getting a lot of the attention? You've seen Moten play well. He gets up the field. Or Blake got hurt. Scott now going up the field.
Guys are stepping up.
When Blunt comes in the game, he's in the backfield.
Yeah.
And that's been a big difference. They're getting that push from the inside And even if they're not making the tackles, Bain and Messenger are causing all kinds of problems.
They're just causing pressure, and it's flustering the game plan. And I think with this Marcel Reed, Texas A&M, you know what? They can go tug on some nuts. I'm sorry. They played a powder puff schedule like Notre Dame. They can do all their dancing and this and that. Fuck them. If you get at Marcel Reed, that kid gets flustered in a hurry. And
he's the straw that stirs the drink, like Reggie called himself when he was playing for the Yankees. But yeah, you got to get to him.
Yeah,
he keeps everybody all jacked up, but he makes plays sometimes with his feet, just like the kid from Florida State. We've got to contain this kid and make him a pocket.
South Carolina had the game plan against him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and let it slip through their hands.
But he slipped. You hit that nail right on the head. He slipped out of the containment and let it loose on him in the second half. Miami, I think, has more talent than South Carolina does, and if we can play a similar game plan, I see us making some noise. At the end of the day, I think this game, the teams do match up very well. I think this is going to be a very entertaining game. I hope I get a chance to be there. We'll see what happens on Wednesday, but I think it comes down to the quarterbacks, which Carson Beck or Marcel Reed, who plays better. I think that's the guy or that's the team that goes on to play Ohio State. And boy, I hope.
I think Mike Elko's a damn good coach. I was shocked. Duke, he did well, and now he's doing well. They're coming off a loss, right, to Texas. I think they're going to be really jacked up for this. This is going to be a hell of we got to be physical.
No doubt we got to be physical, but you know what? At the end of the day, the coming off the loss thing, they're going to be a month removed from that.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think that I get it, but they didn't have to play the championship game. They almost got a break there, and so. At the end of the day, it's the crowd's going to be a factor there. I'm sure that's going to be a pretty
all the more reason we have to jump out. We can't let them be 14-0, because we'll never shut those guys up. We got to come out and score.
We're a front running team. This team plays with the lead. We do not coming from behind SMU and Louisville. We don't get it done. You got to come out. You got to come out hot and just. So what I was
and keep your foot on their throats, not just come out hot. You got to play all the time. I can't keep talking about this.
The Notre Dame
foot on their throats.
The Notre Dame game plan, but with the caveat, you can't go to sleep for 10, 15 minutes.
Hey, how about the Florida State?
If you remember Notre Dame, it was balanced. It was balanced. You had Carson Beck throwing downfield to Tony and CJ Daniels, but you also ran the ball very effectively, and that's what I'm talking about.
But the one thing, what I got a little sidetracked, but what I was saying with earlier, make this game count. Whether you win the Natty or whatever, win this one.
Mm-hmm.
The national media really did, I think, come to bat for us, because I think if that committee was left to its own devices, Notre Dame would be in. But the noise got so damn loud. They didn't have a choice. It was because
they would have looked like fools had they ignored the head-to-head result.
Yeah, well, I don't think they would have cared, because they could have made this move. We should be playing Oklahoma. The reality, we should be the 8 or 9 seed right now. They undervalued us way too much from the beginning, and they didn't have this conversation weeks ago when it should have been had. I don't think they wanted to. The noise just got too fucking loud, and they couldn't ignore it if they wanted.
It's possible. It's very possible. There was a lot of noise, and it was constant.
Make it count. Don't come out. Don't shit the bed. Don't, be there and make it seem like you belong there. You deserve to be there. And at our best, we've seen them play their best. They can beat any of these teams when we are playing our best. So show up like it. That's it.
Right. That's exactly what Nick Saban said. He said we might have been the best team in the country halfway through the season, but then we laid an egg, but we turned it around. So since we turned it around, why can't we beat it? We should be able to beat any of these teams.
Why not?
I'm not saying we are, but we certainly should be.
But
we got all the
can't.
talent.
So do it. It's like, you know what? We've been waiting 20 years for this. Mario, I've said plenty of negative things about the guy, but you know what? This is why you're working 20 hours a day.
Yep.
Show up, let your coordinators do the thing. You know they got the talent. Dawson's shown things, Heatherman's shown things. Let it rip. Let them have at it. Let your players have at it. If you let this team loose, I think we can do some damage in this playoff.
I hope so.
See what happens.
He said something about Keontae Scott might be able to play. I don't know if he will, but I'd like to think so. That kid's
Did
really
we miss him against? I mean, I'd love to have him back. The kid was
he's good.
He was dynamite, but we didn't miss him against Pittsburgh. And that Pittsburgh team, they showed up. Narduzzi wanted to upset us in the worst way possible. He sat guys against Notre Dame so that they were ready for us.
Well, Keontae Scott could be a spy on the quarterback from Texas.
That is true.
That's why I want him back, because he's dangerous in the backfield. He makes plays from the safety spot in the backfield. He's really good.
Here's another thing, real quick, and then I'll let you guys go because I'm sure there's a couple other guys who want to get on. But I think recruiting may have been a bit of a distraction during those first couple of bye weeks. I really hope this team dials in. You've got no recruiting. Maybe, the portal does open up, but
not till January.
What's that? Yeah, not until January. So you got 2 games before that's even a thing. Focus.
Jake, you're right about that. Ask Gary. He may or may not want to admit it, but that was on the coach's mind during those breaks.
Oh, they were chasing whales, and some of it paid off. We got a couple of big Milan Paris. We made some moves, but now,
but they sacrificed being ready for the Louisville game. I didn't feel they
Louisville
were.
Especially SMU, we could blame on the
SMU. There were a lot of factors. Yes.
Yeah, but Louisville, we were flat. We were shit. The game plan was horrible, and Jeff Brown brought it to us, and we just didn't have enough time.
But we still tied the game up, and we had a chance to win. We didn't do it.
We could have won. We could have won SMU. We should have won SMU. We kind of shit the bed, and the officials basically handed them the tie at the end of the game. But focus, like 2 weeks, focus. Dial it in, no recruiting, nothing, just win.
All right, Jake.
I'm sure that's what
Gary.
All right, Jake.
Berlin wants Meister Kane, and he wants who else does he want? Somebody else he wants. Oh, the guy that's on his bed all the time. He wants him on. I think he's going to be your producer next week on the show.
All right, Jake. Thank you, man.
Thanks, Jakester.
Yep, we'll catch you guys later. Yep.
We'll see you next time. We'll have a show week after this one.
Nice.
We'll have another show game week. Yep. We'll see you then. All right, let's go to Mo Solinsky. What's up, Mo? Welcome back.
Hey, how you doing, Gary?
Doing good. What you got for us?
I just want to say congrats. We made it. We're in. Congrats to you guys. Congrats to the coaches and team. I'm really excited. I think right now we're playing our best football, which sometimes, it's good to come in hot, and we are hot right now. And I really think that opening up the offense and Pringle is just an added dimension to this offense. I really think we needed him. And I think the fact that we have him, we're more aggressive on earlier downs. We're running more play action down the field. The outside run game is there. And I think it's going to be really important in the playoff against a team like A&M because you can't just play, like I said, we're talking about earlier, you can't just play A-gap football. We have to be able to mix it up, and that's what we've been doing the last 4 weeks. And this team looks really, really good right now. And I feel very confident against A&M. I think as long as we're not turning, we're safe with the football, I think we're going to be good. And I think the biggest thing right now is we're mixing it up so well that it's keeping opposing DCs in a blender. I mean, you look at that SMU and Louisville game, they were dialed in on everything we did. First down, they were pinching their line, filling the gaps with linebackers. All the teams are doing it. And I don't care how good your O-line is. There's only so many guys they can block. It's just a fact. But you look at the last 4 weeks, they're mixing it up. They're pulling linemen, getting run plays to the outside. I love that split close formation they're running with You got a back on each side of back out of shotgun. Sometimes they mix it up. They got Mally Fletcher. You can run Mally Pringle. It's just a problem. I think we're looking really good right now. I'm feeling very confident coming in because I know a caller earlier mentioned that all these teams have chinks in their armor. I mean, Indiana, I think, is the best coach, but every one of these teams have chinks in their armor.
Mhm.
The thing is, we got a hot Carson Beck right now, and I think if we can continue to play the way we've been playing, we'll keep him out of bad spots. I think that's really what hurt Beck in those games. We had him in third and forever, and it just put him in so many bad spots. Then we'd have penalties. Now it's 3rd and 12, and Beck he shit the bed, to be honest. And now that we're staying ahead of the chains, I think you're seeing the real Carson Beck, and he could be a real problem for everybody. I feel really confident coming into these playoffs. Like, I don't know what our odds are to win it all. I don't even bet sports. I've never been a sports gambler. I play
I don't
cards. I
think
play
it
poker.
matters. Like, I don't think it matters. You know what? And you know what they started? They started to use Malachi not only as a weapon, but as a decoy. And
Yes.
that's worked too, because if you watch the games and you see him get the ball, look at the defense, not him. There's like 6 or 7 guys chasing after him. So I hope they continue to do that. Maybe early in this game, use him as a decoy because they're going to expect him to get the ball and they're going to scheme for Malachi. You know they are. So
Absolutely.
I think that would be another smart. And by the way, in terms of Pringle, that really was the role that we thought that was good. That what's his name, Lyle was going to have, but he never came out. He never got better. He never produced. But that was supposed to be Lyle's position: get to the outside, catch the ball in the flat and run. But Pringle's doing a hell of a job. So you know what? I agree with you. He's a big difference. It's another thing. That's a breakaway guy in the backfield who could take it to the house. We didn't have that.
Absolutely. And another thing too that people don't realize, we have other complementary guys that work well with Mally. I mean, you've got Daniels on the outside, you've got Lofton who can make plays, you got Marion, you have Trader, you have guys like that. Josh Moore, I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anybody, Dalen Upshaw. We have guys who can make that, 1 to 3 plays a game and contribute. And Mally's going to get his at the end of the day. He's going to find his touches, and we're going to get him his touches. But at the end of the day, I think we have enough players on our team to be a genuine problem. And you look at A&M. It's funny because that's probably the team. Them and Texas Tech are the teams I know the least about. But Ohio State, I live in Ohio, so I'm very familiar with Ohio State. And man, I don't want to overlook anyone, but boy, I'll tell you what. After watching Ohio State, I'm licking my chops, hoping we get to that matchup. It's not saying that. Listen, I don't feel Ohio State is a bad football team. I just feel they're a beatable football team. Nobody's invincible right now, and the reason why I feel that way is because you watch them. They don't have the same run game they had last year with Henderson and that Judkins. It's not even close. And their 2 D ends, Jackson and Curry, are nowhere near Sawyer and JT. And I think you saw that in their offensive line. We don't know how good they are because they really weren't tested until yesterday. And you seen what happened. They gave up 5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. I'll tell you right now, our D-line could eat against a team like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying, or guaranteeing we're going to win all. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to drop 100 on it. I'm going to drop 100 on it. We'll see what happens. I don't even bet football.
Let's get past Texas A&M before we start talking about the Buckeyes or the Suckeyes or whatever.
100%. A&M is a pro. I don't know anything about the team. I mean, I do, but I don't know them like I do Ohio State. Not at all. Or a team like Bama or a team like Georgia. I watch those teams a little more regular. A&M's a team I've probably only seen play maybe twice this year. Their quarterback seems he's very athletic, but he seems like if you get pressure on him, he can make that mistake. And hopefully we're able to get that type of pressure on, because I think this game's going to come down to turnovers. And see, that was a stat the guy threw out there, that they don't take away, generate many turnovers, which hopefully that stays true in 2 weeks. And we don't need to turn the football over. I'm just curious what your guys' thoughts are, and what do you think our chances are in this playoff?
I mean, I think the chances are good. I think the onus is on the coaches and their game planning. I don't think that they're going to be able to do the exact same things they did the last month. I mean, the part of what the effectiveness of the last month was that it was so different from the first 8 games, and you're not going to abandon everything you've done here, but I'm not sure that you're going to surprise Texas A&M with Malachi Tony gadget plays.
Right.
I think that they're going to have to get back somewhat without abandoning the wide openness, the creativity. They're going to have to get back to physical football that they're built for in this game. And, to me, it's a big boy game. You're playing a quality SEC team in their place. And you're going to have to be able to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball if you're going to win, in my opinion.
Well, they were 41st against the run. So you know what, Mike, Maurice, the thing is that maybe we should go to like 2 tight ends and try to shove it down their throat. I don't know, but do something a little different than what we've been doing, because they're going to be ready for this. I know Elko's a good coach. They're going to be ready for all this stuff. Maybe we should go back to that power football early in the game, because they're 41st. They're not that great against the run. I don't care how good your line is.
Ready. Have some misdirection. We haven't run draw plays all year. We haven't run screen plays all year. There's a lot
never
of
run screen plays.
No,
I just think we need to make them defend the whole football field. Is what I'm saying. Use the run to the outside, play action on the early downs. I agree with the screen or some draws and misdirection. But of course, absolutely, we're going to come back to our bread and butter and pound it right up the gut. But I like to see us pound it up the gut when we have their asses in a blender. Yep. They don't know what's coming. They're sitting there running. Are they running play action here? Is Pringle going to the outside? Are they going to hit Malley out of the backfield on a little angle? What the hell what is Miami doing right now? And then you come back and you pound the damn center. And you really take their heart away. But you have to have their defensive coordinator just sitting there in a blender. He has to wonder what the hell are they going to do next, because I just think it can't be basic.
I think we have the talent for that. That's for sure.
I think the staff's come around. I really do. I think they finally learned that from our mistakes. And listen, that's why you make mistakes, to learn from them. We're all going to make them. You make them to learn, and I think the staff has. I think we're on the right track. I expect us to be very game in these next few games. I expect us to be competitive. So I think they know what they're doing. I really do. I think they got a grasp on the offense. I agree, Gary. Don't get me wrong. We're eventually going to have to come back and pound it down their throats. But I want to do it at our terms when they're not suspecting it, and we just come and all of a sudden
variety. Keep them off balance with you're able to do a lot of different things. You've proven it over the course of the year.
Yes.
Hit them with a lot lot of variety.
But it's the bottom line is you got to take what they're giving you. If they're stacking the box with 6, you got to get the ball out.
Well,
which is what we've done finally.
It's our biggest strength. That's the thing that makes Miami so damn dangerous, is we've got that balance. We have the running backs that can get it done. We have wide receivers that can make plays down the field. We got a quarterback. We got a defense behind us. That's what makes Miami dangerous right now. We just got to use our weapons. We can play either game. If we want to throw the ball, we can throw the ball. We want to run the ball, we can run the ball. Most teams in college football don't have that luxury. We have it. We just got to use it. And we got to play clean football. That's the biggest thing. Clean football. Limit the penalties and limit the turnovers. Sky's the limit.
Hey, who's the referees, Gary? Do you know? I hope it's not the ACC.
No, oh, God. It won't be the ACC. It'll be a neutral referee.
I think it's neutral, right?
Yeah, it will be neutral.
Maybe Big Ten or something like that.
Big Ten, SEC, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Mo.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys. You guys take care.
Thanks for coming back on the show, man. We'll be back a week from Tuesday.
Absolutely. You guys take care.
All right. Let's go to Adam. They've been calling for you all night, Adam. The guy that comes on the show from his bed. He has appeared. How you doing this evening?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, Adam. Aren't you happy?
Yeah. Oh, I'm ecstatic. I was shocked. I was actually out to brunch with my wife and daughter when I got the alert.
Yeah, it's bizarre because I woke up this morning and I saw this Heather Dinich thing saying that Alabama and Miami's out. And I thought, okay, well, she has her finger on the pulse of what's going on. We're screwed. And then the next thing I know, I didn't even stay up to watch it. It was like 12 o'clock and I think I took a nap or something and I didn't see it. I woke up and there it is. We're in.
We're in. I mean, had we not been in, the committee would have had a lot of explaining to do. If it was us in Notre Dame, then their whole idea of head-to-head, it wouldn't have meant anything.
Yeah, the whole thing to me was just a farce.
Yeah,
it is a farce, and they got to do something about these guys because I don't know.
Not only that, the ACC has to do something. Their whole convoluted system of winning percentage, they should honestly, if it's multiple, just go by ranking, like the AAC does.
Right. Yeah, that would have helped. But you know what? So Duke got the title. But we're in the playoffs. I'd rather be in the playoffs than win the ACC title this year and go nowhere.
Exactly.
Did Manny say he's not going to a bowl? Did I read that someplace?
No, Notre Dame's not
Notre
going
Dame?
to.
I know that, but I thought Manny was screaming we should be in ahead of Miami, and maybe they're not going to go to a
Oh
bowl
no,
game.
No, he was saying that
knew.
they
He
shouldn't
knew.
be in ahead of James Madison.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
He had been saying that last night. A couple things. One, we're not going to force feed Tony this game because we were really force feeding him at the end of that Pittsburgh game.
Because they were going for the record. He had
okay.
85
Trying to get him the
receptions
record.
was the record.
And they will make sure they get him the record this game, I assure you.
Yeah, he needs one more catch to tie it.
Okay. I just don't want to force feed so that A&M can load up on him.
They'll be loading up for sure.
Yeah.
No. Well, that's true. But a couple things. One, A&M, is it just me or A&M look like they peaked, and since really like early November, they look like they've been on that downswing. Because
that's what their
against
coach
South
said. Even
Carolina-
Elko said that, Adam. He said that. He did say that.
What?
The quarterback, I heard he had a sprained ankle for like a month.
Well, no, but like against South Carolina, weren't they down like something like 28-3 at the half?
Yeah, they were down 4 touchdowns and came back. Yeah, in the second half.
I mean, if they're down like that to Miami, I hope we could hold that lead.
Well, you mean like Syracuse last year?
Yeah, exactly.
For Florida State,
you don't
this
take
year, which
anything
we
for
held
granted.
on, but we blew a 28-3 lead, same score.
Yeah, we did the exact same thing against Syracuse.
But our team's different.
You hope.
Our defense is different. We'd hope.
You hope.
Do you think the crowd, and I was reading this, do you think, obviously the crowd's going to be loud. It's going to be 100,000, but how will Miami like counteract that?
By playing
less like piping music
by playing well and controlling the line of scrimmage is how you deal with that. I mean,
and
that's
score
why
early and keep them out of the game if possible. Let them turn on their own team.
That's why I think the Notre Dame game plan is going to have to override the Pittsburgh-Syracuse game plan. I don't know that that's going to be the formula to beating this team in that stadium. I think you're going to have to be able to get physical. They're built to beat. They're built for it. Yeah. Might as well be it. I mean, you can be physical without getting too predictable and conservative by running into the A and B gap every play.
Okay. I know you guys probably haven't done a deep dive into A&M yet, but like for your preliminary, where do you think we can exploit them? Because every team's beatable, I think. And even Indiana, as good as they've looked, is beatable. And same with Ohio State. So where do you think we could exploit A&M, even though it be preliminary right now?
I mean, offensively, I would say running the football. Is definitely one way. I mean, they're not as good in run defense as they are in pass defense and getting after the quarterback. I would say that is certainly one way. And when they played Texas, for example, Texas put up 218 rushing yards, average 6.2 yards a carry. I think that would be a goal for Miami here. I mean, you're going to have to score to beat this team. Without question, they average 36 points a game. So you're not going to be able to just run the ball. But I think it's going to start with the running game. And if they can establish that and get into some play action passing, I think that's where they can best attack A&M's defense.
Okay. And
you
what
don't
about
want to go to third down? This team's very good on third down, Adam.
Okay. And what about, I mean, I know offensively they have Concepcion and who is it, Craver, or the transfer from Mississippi State. But are they like world beaters offensively?
I mean,
their defense didn't even take the ball away that much.
Okay.
I mean, they got this Casey Concepcion kid. I mean, he's their version of Malachi Toney. I mean, he's pretty damn good. The Craver kid is a speed guy. And they got a redshirt freshman by the name of Ashton Bethel Roman, who's had a pretty nice season. I mean, they have weapons. They're not without weapons. Where they're not particularly dangerous is in the running game.
Oh, okay. I know they have Reuben Owens, but other than that, I don't know.
Yeah,
who else?
I mean, he's good. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but
didn't we recruit him way back when?
I don't remember us recruiting Ruben Owens.
Oh, okay, maybe it was somebody else.
He might have been. I don't remember it. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, this is a solid football team, and you're gonna have to go up there with a great game plan. You're gonna have to have a lot of eye candy and deception, which Shannon Dawson's been very good at this year. And I think you're gonna have to control the line of scrimmage and be able to run the football.
Okay. And how are we health wise? I don't think Federico
everybody's back at him except Keontae
He should
Scott.
be back. Yeah.
But Scott should be. I mean, Scott being back would help, even though Fitzgerald looked good against Pitt. And
yeah, but Fitzgerald, he's not as he doesn't have the ability to read as well as Keontae does. He makes tremendous plays in the backfield coming from the safety spot. I like Fitzgerald, but he's not physical like Keontae. We need this kid back.
Okay.
And Fitzgerald's young. He's a freshman. So he's not going to he doesn't figure to be as good as Keontae Scott, but he's had a very good freshman year.
He's a good freshman. Does this count against the 5-game whatever, or is this now bowl season? Because
I believe it's bowl season.
Okay. Not that it matters, because I think the freshmen that played have already exhausted their eligibility, but I'm just curious. And one final thing, and I was curious because you see this now popping all over college football, and I know UM had one. Does Miami have a GM? I know Florida just hired Caldwell from the Jaguars.
They have a GM without the title.
Did that used to be Alonzo?
No, Alonzo never really gravitated to a GM type role. The guy that I would say is the closest thing to a true GM would be Dennis Smith.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because I was wondering, because you're now hearing it more and more in college football, and I was thinking, because that's one less thing Mario. I know Mario's all involved, but to have one less thing on his
that here. The last thing Mario wants is a GM who doesn't answer to the football coach and answers to the athletic director and the administration, and he's watching over the football coach's back. That does not work. I don't know who came up with that idea. That ain't flying, here.
Not with this coach, it's not going to fly.
Yeah, okay.
No, and then they're going to find out it doesn't fly in Florida either. But
okay. Well, thanks for taking my call, guys. Have a great rest of the show.
You too,
all right, Adam. We'll be back.
Congratulations.
See you a week from Tuesday.
Yes,
Take
sir.
Bye
bye.
A whole year of questions from Adam, but we finally got into the playoffs.
Let's go to Armando Izagari. How are you, man? Welcome back to CaneSport Live. What do you got for us?
What's going on, Gary?
What's up, man?
Great news. I don't have much to say. I just want to give some commentary, see what you guys think. What a shame on Notre Dame to deny the bowl game. I mean, out of all the snuffs over the past since college football has basically existed, or at least that I can remember, it's just part of the game. Teams get snuffed, and the fact that Notre Dame is acting like a bunch of whiny little girls, it's a shame on college football. What are your thoughts on that? Because it's truly sad.
I hope they let their players vote on it. I'll tell you that.
I would imagine, Armando, the parents are upset. They want to go to a bowl game and watch their kids play. They want to travel. They want to, maybe come to South Florida or Florida and go to a bowl game with their kids. That's why I went to school at Notre Dame, not just to win the national title. Be a part of this whole college festivities and the experience. Go to a bowl game. They get to a bowl game. They're saying we're not going. Wow.
That was just kind of like the way that I kind of took it. I mean, going back to what you're saying, isn't that just part of college football? I mean, we've been debating, for years who's the best team, and we've created different formats, and the debate's always going to exist.
Right.
There's too many teams, there's too many schools, to try and, corral into some sort of, super conference. Someone's always going to get their feelings hurt. But the fact that they were such sore losers, to just do that, when there's been way more worse snubs than this, FSU, a couple years ago. That was
really, really bad, but it was understandable, but it was bad. Last year they played for the national championship against Ohio State. This year they didn't make the playoffs. They're not going to a bowl game. What a bunch of spoiled brats.
Yeah, I just like I said, I hope they let their players make that decision, and it was not made at the administrative level because that's wrong.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering. You know, it kind of seemed like it was maybe at the administrative level or the coach, but
It probably was. They were probably angry at getting left out. About like I said earlier in the show, I think it's great. I think anything that shoves it up their butts for thinking that they're more they're looking down on everybody and that they could not be in a conference and anything that any year they get left out to me is a plus.
Yep.
I think one of the culprits is the ACC because I mean we've allowed them to use us. I mean back in 2020,
they play a role though. They play a role. Like they give you 5 football games a year where you're making money and you're on TV. You got you're high profile and they serve a purpose for the ACC. They do, but they should be in the league full time. And then they would serve an even greater purpose, and it would serve a purpose for them too, because it would put them in a position where they can win a conference, and they're not sitting there begging to get into a 12-team playoff, where they're not going to have the credentials every year.
Are they in the basketball or no in the ACC?
They are.
I think they're in the ACC except for football and everything except for football.
Everything but football. Yep.
They want to keep all that money themselves. It's a great thing.
Maybe they'll change it now.
The money because they would bring value to the ACC, and you could work out the money to where they make the same thing. Most likely, it's stupid.
Yeah. Did you, Gary? You're funny on X, man. Your tweets are like just driving me nuts. Did you see some of the stuff that Jason Whitlock was saying? Just race baiting, religion baiting. It was like
no.
That guy hasn't.
I try not to pay attention to that guy.
Okay, he hasn't been stable, and I've been following him for years, and he's.
What did he say? Because I watch Jason sometimes.
What did he say? He said that Notre Dame got left out because they're a Catholic school. Then he said that if the coach of Notre Dame was wearing a big, thick chain and just making a fool of himself. I don't want to say it because it's kind of offensive what he said, but yeah, it was just a lot of innuendos, race baiting innuendos, and it's so uncalled for. Especially, it kind of made him look like just a moron. I've never respected him, but he is what he is, and people like to listen to him. I understand, sometimes he has some good views, but sometimes he's just a little off.
Yeah, I thought he was okay with Caitlin Clark. He was on her side, I thought that was good.
I don't remember that. Last thing, I know I wish Matt was here. I wanted to talk to him. I know he's been talking about this SEC bias. Well, I feel like he's kind of part of it, but if he does listen to this, I want him to look up, since he likes to use these big words and act like nobody knows what he's saying. I want him to look up cascade bias. Matt, if you're listening to this later on, or Gary, you want to pass this on?
He's probably sleeping, but what do you say? Cascade bias?
Yes, cascade bias. Very simple. He knows what it means. If you hear the same thing over and over again, eventually you're going to start to believe it. That's what the SEC is. A circular reasoning. Like, oh, why is the SEC good? It's because they played all the good teams. Well, who did they play? Well, they play, and then basically list a name of the schools in their conference. Going to my last point, I'm gonna let you go after this. But did you see what happened between week 2 and week 3 in the AP poll? Tennessee moved up 5 spots from 21 to, I believe, 15. And the teams that they jumped, they're Bama, I believe Bama, Ole Miss, A&M, SMU, Iowa State, Michigan, and UF. And every single one of those teams won aside from UF. And Tennessee jumped 5 places in the poll. And why did they jump 5 places in the poll? Well, guess what? Because that very week, who are they playing against? Georgia. And now they get to say that Georgia is playing a top 15 team. And that's just the way that a lot of this SEC bias works.
I believe in that. That's probably true. They do that all the time.
And over the past 20 years with their 8 games that they play, I mean, you start adding up all those games that they play that they're not playing. Yeah, it's gonna look a lot worse on their record than what they really are.
I don't want to hear all those people bitching because they all decided to go into the same conference. Okay. They didn't all have to go to the SEC. They went there to chase the money. And I don't want them complaining that they're not getting more than, I mean, they're getting 5 teams in the playoff.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's almost half the field.
And if somebody, I know somebody brought up the idea of like 14-team playoff. If they put 14, if they make it a 14-team playoff, they'll just find, 6 or 7 SEC teams to put it. It's at the end of the day, it's all about money. We watch the game and they're making money off of it. And I get it. It's a TV show and they want to make money. And so we as fans, we kind of have to look at it from that perspective. Like they, when they release these bogus rankings, the college football, it's a TV show. That's why they put it right between 2 basketball games last week, because nobody wants to watch basketball, in the month of November, college basketball. So they put it right in between, and hopefully that they can, carry on the momentum into the second leg of that, that doubleheader. And so, yeah, that's it. I just, want to give, my little 2 cents, because I get nauseated. Please, if there's one thing that Matt is right about, it's when he says that you need to get him off the Good Morning show. And I've never agreed with him until now, but now that he's going to keep talking about the SEC, maybe it is time to find a new partner with you.
I'd create it. If I took Matt off our morning show, I'd create a riot. We're not
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. All right,
Armando. Thank you, man. Thanks for being part of the show. We'll see you next time. All right, guys. Some programming notes. CaneSport Live. There will not be a show this Tuesday. This takes the place of that, but there will be a show a week from Tuesday on game week. And there'll be a Lamar Thomas show that week as well, regular programming leading up to the Texas A&M game. So put that on your calendars. Bruce, before we go, any parting thoughts for tonight?
Only that I'm happy. Congratulations to the entire organization. You guys as well. CaneSport works this 365, and it's been a long 24 years. But we didn't win the ACC yet, but we're in the playoffs. That's all that matters. Now it'd be nice to beat Texas A&M, because then you could really focus on the portal and move forward without having a black mark on next to your name, losing a bowl game and losing 3 out of the last 4. The recruiting class this year was great, so it looks good. Let's just beat Texas A&M, and I'm not worried about Ohio State. I just want to win this game and just finish off the season on a positive note for a change.
Yeah,
the
Canes fan is happy in general. And before we go, I know everybody wasn't with us in the first minute of the show, so I want to replay a video that came in from a couple of big Canes fans that I know in the state of Nebraska. And for those that didn't see it at the beginning of the show, I'll throw it up here. It's only a minute long. I think you'll enjoy it. Take a look.
Jordan.
My name's Brian.
And as I'm sure you guys see, the University of Miami just made the playoffs because we beat the crap out of Notre Dame and we kicked them out. So now, in celebration, we are getting ready to jump in this pool. But not just jump in this pool. As you can see, it is 34 degrees and feels like 23. But the air quality says it's good. So everything is fine there. So we're going to jump in this pool, and then we're going to do 6 push-ups for the 6th national championship that we're about to win. Let's go. Let's go! Oh no! Oh man!
That was awesome. And with that, we'll see you next time, everybody. It was awesome. I love that video.